Hello and welcome to the Bracket Show on a Monday night because we couldn't do it yesterday for various reasons. There was a lot of different reasons we couldn't do last night. But we are here tonight and it's going to be a lot of fun. Taylor, how are you?
I'm here. You're welcome. That's all I got for you. I don't know.
That is
it's Monday and it feels like it's been a whole week.
Yep, it's been
already.
one
day. So
I love you, Taylor.
We echo that.
Met Gala.
It is the Met Gala, and you know what? That should make me happy, but no one is serving. Nobody. There's like 3 people that understood the assignment. I'm so unbelievably I'm just like stupidly angry that all these people have all this money.
God, who understood the assignment though, Taylor? Tell me. At least who understood it?
Always understands the assignment.
She always does.
Every single time. She showed up, like she was one of the first ones to show up, and I was like, everyone else should just go home already because there's just no So that's kind of where we're at. She's just continuing to be the epitome of fashion, and no one else knows what the hell is going on. Anyway,
Mara,
she's
how
still
are you?
wearing metal because, like, that's pretty cool. That was the last time I checked in on Zendaya.
That was the Dune one, yeah.
Yeah, that was a Dune 2 premiere. Speaking of Zendaya, Taylor, it's been a week since you last reported back to us. How many times have you seen Challengers?
only twice.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know. I if I had time, it would have been more, but seen it twice, so I'm pretty happy with that.
Yeah, you did get to go see it again.
I did, and it's still just as good. The score is still just blowing my mind, living rent free in my head.
We walked into we walked into the Fall Guy.
Oh yeah.
we were like, oh, let's go see Fall Guy, and we walked in, like, we were early, and we walked in, and you're like, and Taylor just instantly went, that's the Challengers.
I was like, this is the Challenger score at the end of the movie.
We were too early.
Like, way too early right now. But anyway, everyone go see Challengers right now.
Yes.
Right now. I don't even care if you're watching the stream. Go right now.
Just leave.
When are you gonna go see it a third time?
Yes, if I have time.
We'll find time.
If I have time, yes.
I don't know. Apes might be taking up a lot of our time.
Your time. You can go see Apes and I'll see Challengers again.
Apes is on Wednesday, and I am very excited.
When can I see this movie?
I think you can see it. I think you can go Thursday. I think it's Thursday for you. Either Thursday or it might be a screening tomorrow night, but I don't know. Anyway, that's 3 minutes of us ranting about what's currently playing. Marisol and Adam, how are you?
We're great. We're great. We had a good, I guess, Star Wars weekend.
Yes. She watched a Star Wars with me. That's always fun.
That means it was a good weekend.
That's always an occasion. But no, it's nice. We haven't like marathon, like she's seen Star Wars plenty of times, but we've only watched so many of the films together. So we got through the original trilogy last year, took our time, just like, it's like one of those, like, when we feel like it. And then we got around to Force Awakens this week, and that was fun.
It was fun.
Yeah.
Made some Yoda teenies. That was really fun.
I drank a Yoda teenie. It had little lime ears.
Had little ears.
It was awesome.
That's awesome.
And we're drinking this tonight. We made in honor of all our water movies on the bracket this week.
Many aquatic,
a lot
adventures.
of aquatic adventures. So we made some I don't know.
What is this?
I don't know.
It smells good.
Yeah. Here's to Life of Pi and Shape of Water and all that stuff.
It tastes good too.
Lara, how are you?
As it says, I'm just a little sick. But lucky for me, I went to the Central Market on Saturday morning again because I am addicted and I have a problem and I'm not going to seek help. So, but I went to the Algerian paella place, and they do a vegetarian paella, which praise be. But they serve traditional cherry tea there. They were out, but alternatively, they have cinnamon tea, and their cinnamon tea was too legit to quit. So I did bring some home, and I've been guzzling that a lot, and it's been helping. So but I'm on the lookout. Anybody that's got a hookup for authentic Middle Eastern cherry tea, let me know, because I really need some, and I'm not going to go back to the Central Market for a little bit. So, yeah, just anybody, let me know, hook me up.
All right. Well, with that, we should begin with what I think is a really tough matchup to start with.
Great.
I hope you.
Amor versus The Shape of Water.
Who are you gonna pick on first?
Marisol,
Jacob, I nominate you to. No, Jacob,
Oh,
you go
God.
first. If this is so hard, you should go first.
All right. Amor is a beautiful, beautiful film about Alzheimer's and love and what a person will do for love. It isn't Shape of Water. And as someone who is not the biggest Del Toro fan, Shape of Water is just this incredible film that hit me in a way that no Del Toro movie ever has. It showed me a side of Del Toro I have not seen, even with Pan's Labyrinth. I've not seen this from Del Toro before. I think it's such a beautiful love story. It's a love story and a monster movie, and I just absolutely love every single aspect of this film. I think it's heartbreaking. It is poetic and breathtakingly visual. I like the visuals are just absolutely breathtaking. So I am going to go with Shape of Water. Marisol.
This is a last minute homework call. We've rented, and I actually have watched most of Amor. I finally watched it.
We do a lot of this by the skin of our teeth.
By the skin of our teeth. Yeah. So I was like, I gotta see this movie, because I was scared we would all be like, no, none of us saw this movie. So we wouldn't have anything to say about it. But I was like, damn it, I should probably watch this, because I've wanted to see it ever since it won whatever Palme d'Or, like all the way back when. Not whatever. It was in 2012, and I now having seen absolutely most of it, which I have. This is really tough. This is really tough. You're right. This is a really tough matchup, which probably wouldn't have been tough if I hadn't seen the movie. But wow, these are two really super, super different movies. One is a completely extravagant, gorgeous, rich, hyperactive blend of all these genres, and has creativity oozing out its pores and production design oozing out its pores. And the other is a deliberately muted, stripped, basic, straightforward, observational, completely quiet, understated drama about the quiet moments of your life when you're on death's door, and both are about the reaches of love beyond time and the now. They're both intense, overreaching cosmic love stories in both very different ways. I think one is about the mundanity of being at the end of your life, and these two people are so connected, and one of them, she has a stroke, and the depths, the extent to which this man, her husband, is devoted to her and taking care of her is heartbreaking, and it's unlike anything. There's not a movie like Amor. There's not a movie like it. There's also not a movie like Shape of Water for vastly different reasons. One is an incredibly slow movie about something we don't see, and the other is Shape of Water, which is a movie that's a melting pot of a lot of things we've never seen. So it sucks having to choose between these two. But if you ask me which one I would put on tomorrow, it would definitely be Shape of Water. So I think I'll just vote for it on that note, even though I think Amor is a very special piece of work. And I would like to pick like the beautiful movie. I like Shape of Water. It's up there with Del Toro's work. I am still going to vote for it. But I had to say some good stuff about Amor, even though I am going to pick Shape of Water, because of all kind of the things you were saying about it, Jacob. It is very special. And as absurd as it seems on paper, Sally I mean, all the performances really, but Sally Hawkins really, really sells. You believe that Doug Jones and Sally Hawkins are in love. You believe that this fish and this woman are in love. And
Gilman.
I think Richard Jenkins is underrated in this movie.
Yes.
Badly.
Yeah.
I said it last week, like, you know, with 3 Billboards, like I really like Sam Rockwell's performance. Richard Jenkins deserved the Oscar for that. I think Richard Jenkins in Shape of Water gives the best performance personally. But Mara?
Everyone already said so many great things about Amour, and I agree about all of them, but I'm going to vote for The Shape of Water. It's a movie that is about being othered because of your race, because of your gender, because of a disability, because of your sexual orientation. And they blend that all together so beautifully without it just being heavy-handed and overbearing. I love that it's a period piece. I also think Michael Shannon is so good. Like, he is good at being a bad guy, but he's pretty complex in it as well. I just think it's a beautiful movie. I think it can be a movie that can help people that have never been othered find some common ground. And the fact that Sally Hawkins can communicate such a performance without speaking, you know, I just think that there's just so much complexity there to the degree of difficulty by which the movie excels so much. So everything that you said about Amour is correct. It is lovely. It's beautiful. Obviously, it deserves all of its praise, but just for me personally, I find so much identity and representation with The Shape of Water. So I adore the movie. It was one of my favorites of the year.
Yeah, I'm not going to drag it out too much, just because we are going to get to talk about it again. I am going to pick The Shape of Water. I just remember being so taken with the movie, like, as someone who does really love Del Toro as a filmmaker. I just remember thinking, like, wow, I knew he was a great filmmaker for so many reasons, but this movie really felt like kind of all of the amazing things he does in filmmaking really coming together in a really special way that we hadn't quite seen before. The performances are all incredible. The script is wonderful. Like, the score is amazing. And it's just such a cool, fantastical take on a love story. Like, I just feel like love stories don't really get that kind of care and attention, and are taken, like, seriously like that as much anymore, especially with really cool, fantastical elements that Del Toro uses a lot of in his films. So it's just a really cool partnership of a really sweet love story of exploring, you know, what was kind of mentioned already, like the otherness and feeling kind of on the outside of everything, and still being able to find that person for you, but also having it be Del Toro by having those really cool fantasy things. But yeah, definitely Shape of Water.
Adam?
Yeah, I think we've covered our bases pretty well. I will say this about The Shape of Water. I think it's a movie that went through that really annoying phase when it was successful of getting, you know, maligned by, you know, folks for just its popularity at the time, it seemed. And I appreciate that we've had some time away from it. I feel like its legacy has started to settle a bit. And what's really special about Guillermo del Toro as a filmmaker is he's not perfect. Not everything he does is a home run. But what I love about all of his movies is they're all made with passion. You know, like, I would rewatch Crimson Peak over so many other movies, even though, like, I have misgivings about the use of CGI in that film and everything. It doesn't ruin it. It's still fun and weird. But I love Shape of Water because of the absence of some of those modern effects. He really returns to his roots. And it like, you had me at, like, you know, romantic version of Creature from the Black Lagoon. Like, that's what this movie feels like. It's what it looks like. And it's very, very sweet. And also, like, it has some, like, really cool, like, not, you know, fun, gory moments, honestly. You know, I mean, I'm not,
Toro knows how to do gore.
Yes. And Michael Shannon is always wonderfully weird. See him in Boardwalk Empire if you haven't. But I am going to give, just so we don't have a clean sweep, I haven't seen Amour. I can't wait to watch it because I know it's going to be just a ball. And no. I paid $3.99. I'm going to watch it tomorrow because we have it for 48 hours. So I'm going to give it the participants vote because I'm going to watch it. But Shape of Water, we'll talk about it more.
Yeah. Okay, I'm happy you did because I was going to change my vote. I was like, I can't have Amour go out 5-0. Yeah, I was like, I'm going to change my vote.
I'm going to watch it tomorrow, and
Thank you.
Fair.
Thank you for doing
No, that's fair. Amour didn't deserve to get swept.
And I love Michael
it
Haneke.
really didn't.
I really like Haneke films.
It just had a bad matchup. All right.
A handful of his movies. So go, Michael.
127 Hours versus Tangled. Taylor. Two very similar movies.
Yeah, for sure.
About hanging out.
Yeah, so I've seen 127 Hours, but it was once when it came out. Remember, like, thinking it was good. But also it made me like want to vomit and die a little bit. So there's that. I think about that one scene sometimes, and it makes my skin crawl like off of my body. Tangled, however, might be my favorite Disney movie like ever of all time. It's at least like top 2. Like if it's not number 1. I adore Tangled, and I will never I think part of the reason I hate Frozen so much is Frozen came around and everyone forgot about how good Tangled was, and Frozen's mediocre, so it makes me very angry that they just like took everything out of the Disney parks and stuff that was Tangled to turn it into Frozen. Anyway, I'm gonna stop ranting about that now. I could go on for like 6 hours about why it makes me angry. But yeah, Tangled. Love the songs. Listen to the soundtrack all the time. Think it's cute. Has like the best like animal sidekicks ever. Yeah, like I love, on a serious note though, I love the way that it explores like relationships with your parents when they are not good. When your guardian who's supposed to watch out for you and take care of you is taking advantage of you and being abusive, even if it's not necessarily physically, if they're being emotionally abusive to you. And I think it's a really important thing to explore in kids, quote unquote, kids films, especially with the way that it was handled. I think it was handled very well. And I think it's something that really, like, amongst all the fun of the movie, I think it really stands out as a really strong element of the film, of, showing a character who is able to find her own voice and her own identity and stand up for herself, and not just be like, well, this is quote unquote technically my family, so I kind of just have to love my family no matter what. I think that's a really important thing to explore and to show kids and people of all ages, honestly. So I am going to vote for Tangled.
Adam.
Yeah, interesting matchup. I'm not mad at it though. This is the kind of stuff I like. This is, we have some variety in this matchup. Yay! Not that the previous ones were bad. So far, so good, Jacob. So far, so good. Yeah, Tangled was a movie I caught up with like better part of a decade after it came out and was delighted. I was really impressed. I'd heard so much good word of mouth. And I caught up on a lot of animated movies from that decade, like way after the fact. And that was one that stuck out in my memory because of how effortlessly funny and enjoyable it was, while also being, like mature in the way it dealt with a lot of the familiar relationships, like you said, Taylor. I like that, it explores the idea of parental resentment too. Like, even though she's not a good parent, obviously, I think there's something very human with the way she's portrayed and the way even though she's not a good person, in terms of the way she's looking after Rapunzel, she has developed an emotional attachment to her, a dependency on her. And that movie, surprisingly, deals with that in a lot of direct ways. I think the humor really works, and I agree that Frozen kind of follows this mold and was more successful because of the songs in it. Maybe, who knows? But Tangled is great, And 127 hours, really impressive. Danny Boyle flick, and like I think it achieves everything it set out to do. Really paints a vivid picture of everything it went through, and I can't like look at that movie and be like, well, I didn't learn more about this thing it was telling me about. I did. Like, I'm not trying to diminish that. It's a very harrowing experience what he went through. But for that, like a dramatization of it, especially, like it was interesting, but a documentary for me in a lot of ways would have achieved a similar effect. Although I think it's an effective dramatization of the events. And I'm glad he survived, but I'm going to vote for Tangled.
Mara?
You took the words right out of my mouth. I was going to say the exact same thing, that I think that story would be better served as a documentary, particularly because at least my hemisphere of influence with like people I worked with, people that were like my bosses or family members that I talked to. So many people, the only thing people talked about was, I won't go see it because of the scene, the gore scene. And they wouldn't talk about the fact that this was just this fantastic feat of survival, of wanting to get back to your family. And I feel like that really diminished the human achievement and just the human spirit of it all. And admittedly, it is a fantastic performance, and it's a really well-made movie, even looking past just the James Franco of it all, which I do struggle with sometimes. But I think that whenever I think of documentaries, I always think of Free Solo now, because I mean, you can't help it to a point, but it's also like, think about what you can do. Obviously not a in the moment documentary as that one is, but you can actually get a true sense of like scale with that at the same time. And having him speak about his own experience, I think, is more impactful than watching James Franco try to do that to himself and act even in a good performance. So just hearing him speak to his own experience, I think would have been much better. But Tangled, I think, it does what I hope that kids' movies will do, which is it totally appeals to adults. I didn't see the movie as a child because it didn't come out when I was a child. So it totally appeals to me as an adult, but it teaches kids something super important. It can speak to a child about something at their level that can be important for them to hear. And it's super adorable. Music's great. I really, really love the movie. And I was very late to the party on it. Didn't see it until a year before this one, I believe. 2022, pretty sure. But really, really loved it. I was super surprised. I thought I was like, oh, it's just going to be fine. One of my favorite of the newer Disney films. So absolutely Tangled. And yeah, sorry, 127 hours. You deserved better.
Mara? No, sorry, Marisol.
Marisol.
I mean,
yeah.
I was waiting for it to happen.
First time I've done it the entire series.
Is it?
All right, we are 8 weeks in.
I have nothing further to add that everybody hasn't said. It's been a long, long time since I've seen 127 hours, and also long on Tangled. I'm not as high on Tangled as the panel is, but I do like Tangled, and I am agreeing. Vibing off of everything you're saying. I do totally agree with the messages behind it. I do look forward to rewatching it before long. And I like 127 hours. I haven't revisited it. It is really tough to watch. I haven't revisited it, but I still think that movie is an impressive accomplishment in of itself. And Danny Boyle did craft a harrowing, upsetting, and immediate that's a good, that takes a lot of skill and craft to create a cinematic experience like that. So I'm not going to deny what 127 hours did, because it was really effective, because I don't want to watch it again. It made a hell of an impression on me. But I am going to pick Tangled. Everybody all said it really well because of that. And I'll probably rewatch that and not rewatch 127 hours. I'm happy that guy made it out. Shit.
Man, we had potential of 2 5-0 sweeps to start the night. I was not expecting that. Yeah, it's Tangled. It's like everyone's kind of always like 127 hours it's a good movie. I wouldn't go it's great. It's like it's a weird follow-up for Danny Boyle after Slumdog. I think it's a very weird choice to be like, hey, I just won Best Picture and Best Director. I'm going to do 127 hours. That's a weird follow-up, but okay. But it's not Tangled. Tangled's just one of the best Disney movies we've had in the last 20 years. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Tangled. So yeah, let's move on to
God.
Marisol. I'll start with you on this one. Girls Trip versus Frances Ha. You look so like bewildered.
This blows. I mean, I don't want to choose between these movies. I love both of these movies, and I think both of these movies have a lot to offer. Oh shit. You don't have to come back to me, homie.
All right, I'll come back to you then.
Wait, no.
No.
Okay.
You don't want to be.
No, I always say that. I always say that. Yeah, I'm gonna talk it out. Girls Trip is one of the unexpectedly funniest movies of the decade. I mean that's always subjective when it comes to comedy, but this was a bona fide hit. It was a commercial hit, big word of mouth hit. It gave us Tiffany Haddish. It was not since Zach Galifianakis had we seen a breakout comedic performance this hilarious and this universally loved. Girls Trip is something we don't really see that often. Not since Bridesmaids, which is a fantastic female ensemble comedy, which really we didn't get a lot. And this movie actually backed it up by being fleshed out with actual characters with actual problems. Each of the 4 leads in Girls Trip actually has some personal conflicts that they're going through that are valid, that are explored, that are treated. They're middle-aged women. They're treated with respect and maturity. And then it's also this absolutely hilarious, raunchy R-rated comedy on top of it that doesn't just stick with like poop jokes or, well, there is a bathroom joke in it, but it doesn't. Girls Trip is an unexpected delight. Frances Ha is also a coming-of-age movie about somebody who's about to be like 30, about a late bloomer, an infuriatingly late bloomer. And Frances Ha is also a really special movie too. I don't know. We know Greta Gerwig behind the camera, but this is one of the best examples of her in front of the camera, shining as an actor. A very messy character who doesn't have her shit together at all. But because it's a Baumbach movie and a Baumbach script, you're completely on this upsetting ride, similar to the way that Anne Hathaway was incredible in Rachel Getting Married. Greta Gerwig is similarly frustrating and sympathetic and captivating in Frances Ha. And it's much lighter than Rachel Getting Married. It's a light movie. These are both 2 great female-led comedies. One's a more comedy drama. I don't like choosing between these 2, but I'm going to pick Girls Trip because it's fucking hilarious. And these both could easily get a spot beyond. But I think Girls Trip will edge out and being a little more unique. There's not a lot of examples of a broad studio comedy starring 4 Black women. Name another one. Yeah. There's not one to name. There's not a single other one. And that's not why I'm voting for it. But when I'm trying to just stack these things side to side the way I can, and which one I actually want to watch tomorrow, I want to watch Girls Trip tomorrow. And I have watched that movie more than Frances Ha, but both are great. I'm picking Girls Trip.
Mara?
Yeah, it's a pretty well documented thing that Greta Gerwig doesn't really work for me. I'll just leave it at that. Girls Trip was such a surprise delight for me because female driven movies don't always work for me either, just in general. But I think the fact that they let the characters be so loose and kind of feel like real people. And I think part of that is the Tiffany Haddish of it all, because she is just ridiculous. And she's ridiculous because she brings so much of her self to her characters a lot of the time. Like she's kind of one of those like a Paul Rudd-ish type or a Ryan Reynolds type where they just kind of get to be themselves in almost every character that they are because they're just so charismatic. And she just has such a magnetism as a comedian. And I don't know. I felt like I wanted to actually go and be on that trip and hang out with them. And going on a trip with only women sounds like a fucking nightmare to me most of the time. So like, I would gladly rewatch that movie on any occasion. And I had to watch a lot of movies this week, by the way. So I did not rewatch Frances Ha. I've only seen it once. I would have found it to be a chore. So Girls Trip it is for me.
Okay. Adam?
I caught up on Frances Ha this week, and I did enjoy it. I think it's, you know, much like 127 hours, it achieved the mission. You know, like I got a real sense of anxiety of what it would be like to be around a character like Frances. And honestly, I told you afterwards, the movie stressed me out a lot more than like really violent, high tension, you know, horror films and thrillers, because every time she was around people trying to fill the silence, I just, it hurts. It's like, I was so frustrated for everybody in those scenes. I think there's a lot of honesty in that movie, and I appreciate all that. I like the way it's presented, very anecdotal. And I am not, I don't have necessarily more to say about it than that, but I'm glad I finally saw Frances Ha. I will say that. And with Girls Trip, I agree with everything both of you said. It is a modern comedic classic. It's a movie you can go back to. It's a movie that if it's on, oh God, when we can catch like a scene of that, if we're like on a trip in a hotel, like it just sucks us in immediately. Like that's like one of those perfect comedies to catch like midway. I'm just like, yeah, let's go. So I vote for Girls Trip as well. I would love to say more things about it, but I'm probably going to go long on a couple other movies tonight. So I'm going to leave it at that. I vote for Girls Trip.
Taylor, I'll let you.
I mean, it doesn't matter now.
No, but I'll let you at least talk.
Uh-oh.
I know you really.
We're all going to die anyway. Yeah.
No, it's fine. It's just with a bunch of Greta haters, apparently. So I'm just gonna have to.
I watched the movie. I liked
really
it.
didn't say anything about hating Greta.
It's fine.
I love Greta Gerwig.
I'm the only noted Greta Gerwig not fan here, so I'm the only one. Taylor, it's okay.
No, it's okay. It's okay. Proceed, Taylor.
It's fine. I'll just be personally attacked. It's fine.
All right. Well, with that, Girls Trip does move on. All right.
Please love me despite my flaws, Taylor.
That's why we keep coming back to this stream. That's why we keep doing this show all over again. Be like, please don't hate. I love you. Please I love you. Don't hate me.
All right. I swear to God, if this one takes a while, I'm going to be mad because it shouldn't. The Hunt versus Magic Mike. Now, this is the Hunt. This is the Mads Mikkelsen, The Hunt. All right. This isn't the
Hilary Swank movie.
The Hilary Swank one. No, this is the Mads Mikkelsen, The Hunt film. If this one takes a while, it's The Hunt, and if I swear to God, like Magic Mike's fine. Magic Mike is a fine movie.
Uh-oh.
This is the best I've ever seen Mads. Like the absolute best. It is terrifying. It is an absolutely brilliant performance from him that is about the of just the absolute impossibilities of a bad situation and how to just and just like it just getting worse and worse. You know, we talked about Shame last week of how like he was kind of getting away with he was on the other side. This is the opposite of that, where it's just he's like just constantly in the worst case scenario. I think The Hunt is a brilliant film, and yeah, so yeah, I'm gonna vote for The Hunt.
Nice way to kick it off.
Yeah.
With a threat. We've been
Yeah.
threatened.
Listen up.
Adam.
Yeah. So I nominated The Hunt, right? Was it going to make it regardless?
Yeah, the Hunt was already there.
All right. Well, you made me feel at the time. You made me feel like my decision mattered. So thanks.
Sorry, no, it wasn't there already, Adam. Thank you so much.
Yes, exactly. That's
putting it
exactly
on
what
here. Thank you very much.
pretend that my decision mattered more than it did because that
It did.
validates me. Now, I will say this: The Hunt is a fantastic drama, in my opinion. It is one of those ultimate dramas about the court of public opinion and how frustrating it can be. The universality of it. I love going across the pond to Denmark and seeing the story play out the way it does. And you know, like with all films that take place outside of the United States, I enjoy all the things you pick up about the culture and stuff like that, but there's also just so much that is the same. And one aspect of it is the way we approach the educational system in terms of holding our teachers to a high standard as we should, but also scapegoating them whenever it suits people's needs. And I think The Hunt is one of the most effective depictions of that. And it's really frustrating to be in the driver's seat the whole movie with Mads, Lucas, and to see this all play out. It's one of the scariest movies I've seen in a long time. I remember that the first time I saw it, I was emotionally nervous around every turn. I didn't trust anything to play out the way it should, and nothing felt fair. And I think a lot of that is owed to Mads' performance and the way the ensemble's directed around him. I love how much it is not sensationalized. I think that makes it really effective. I still need to see another round. I'm really excited to finally see that film. Yeah, I'm gonna love it. I just know. And so that's gonna happen. But I want to give a little respect to Magic Mike. I went into that movie with my arms crossed when it came out. I was like, no. And I remember I rented the physical disc from a Redbox at the CVS, and I brought it home and I watched it, and I was glad I did because it was surprisingly good, genuine. I really like the characters in it. Always appreciate Kevin Nash in movies. I don't know what that guy is, just enormous. And it's just fun to see him show up and stuff. Like he's the reason I still rewatch the original, or not the original, the 2004 The Punisher. It's 2004, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Anyway, moving on. I vote for The Hunt, but I just wanted to give a little respect to Magic Mike because I think it is a solid movie and makes me laugh and all that. I don't like his girlfriend in that movie very much, I'll admit. I forget the actress's name. She's not that pleasant. I don't want to blame that. I'm voting for The Hunt because The Hunt's a good movie, but yeah. All right, there we go. Move on.
Yeah. So, yeah, who doesn't love when a movie dares to ask these really uncomfortable questions, really difficult questions? And one of these movies asks a question that we've never heard before.
Uh-oh.
What if your romantic lead actress can't act?
It was a bold question.
It's a bold question. Ain't nobody asked it before. But damn it, Magic Mike asked it.
Can we go there?
And they went there. Magic Mike is fearless movie making.
She should have been played by Kevin Nash.
Putting a non-acting ass in a lead role in a movie. Whatever. Look. Yes, Mad Mike.
Mad's Mike.
Mad Mike. Magic Mike kicked off this weird little franchise, And gotta give some loves for the hardworking male strippers out there in the world. Now, look, if this was The Hunt versus Magic Mike Double XL, we'd be having a whole nother conversation.
Still hearing about that movie.
We'd be having a whole nother conversation.
God.
Let me
She
make
saw
this
it last
very
year,
clear.
finally, and I was
Let me
like,
make
okay.
this clear. Okay, but we're not. We're having a conversation between The Hunt and Magic Mike.
Oh, Christ.
Yeah, this is no brainer. This is The Hunt. I am fresh off The Hunt. I saw it this week, and yeah. Oh, shit. Wow. Love this movie because of how uncomfortable it peels back all these aspects of what happens. This movie reminded me so much of Atonement, one of my favorite movies ever. Because it's what if one teeny tiny little white lie destroyed lives, just snowballed, and the ripple effect of that, and what if just tore lives apart. And The Hunt is like it's so understated the way the whole movie plays out, and it's all balanced by that fantastic performance by Mads Mikkelsen. I like the restraint of all the approach of all of it, and it just makes it really get under your skin. I'm going to continue to think about this movie for days. It is an absolute strong movie, and it certainly deserves to beat Magic Mike. But here's one for Channing Tatum's magically gyrating hips. See, that man made strippers everywhere very proud. It's a special movie, Magic Mike.
Taylor.
The last one pissed her off, though. Another time.
That movie won't be on any bracket. It's okay.
Yeah. So I have not seen The Hunt, but I can guarantee you one frame of anything in The Hunt will be 1,000 times better than any single frame in Magic Mike ever.
Damn!
I saw Magic Mike like 10 years after it came out, something stupid like that. Like I was like, all right, fine, I'll watch it because the third one was coming out. So I watched the other two, and I went into it with my arms crossed and came out with my arms crossed tighter.
Cannon did not work on Taylor.
Disgusting. I am so like sex positive and so like strippers, hell yeah. But this movie, fucking dude, it made me like anti. I'm like, can we put it all away? Actually, can we just not do that at all? The lead dude, the actress in that movie, I'm so viscerally upset that like I don't understand. Like, and it's not a fun movie at all. They try to make drama, like they try to put real drama in it. Like, what are you doing? And like, listen, Channing Tatum is a great dancer. Okay, objectively, he has a great body. It doesn't do anything for me. I look at him and go, great. He's attractive objectively, I guess. I don't know. I don't get it. So it's just not my type at all. Not even a little bit. Like I was just like, this movie is not made for me. This is specifically, where everyone's like, oh, like movies with girl leads, like as a girl, not my thing. I'm like, conventionally attractive men like that, I guess, not my thing. It's supposed to be targeted at me. I don't get it. I don't know. So yeah, absolutely not. There's not a universe where I will vote for any Magic Mike movie, especially, it only gets fucking worse when you put McConaughey in the mix. Jesus Christ. No, I refuse.
Mara?
Taylor just spoke directly to my soul. I'm not gonna lie to you. I didn't even bother watching Magic Mike. That movie's not made for me. I don't want to look at that. I support anyone's right to employ themselves in whatever industry in which they choose, as long as they are a consenting adult and they are an adult and can employ themselves in that field. Like, go for it. It's also my right to choose not to watch this movie about the people that chose to go do that. I don't find that body type attractive to look at, and I don't want to sit there and stare at it for this show. Sorry, I love you, but not that much. But The Hunt, I watched that on a plane. That was a terrible mistake. I did not realize the visceral physical experience I was going to have being in a plane, which I already have a lot of trouble flying, but I'm pretty sure this was like one of the 14-hour or 10-hour flights that I
Ooh.
was on. I think I was going to Europe when I watched this, and that was ill-advised. I just thought I was going to be in for like, oh my God, this is going to be like a really awesome drama. I love this guy. Oh my God, it's going to be great. I was sweating, and I was like,
Yeah.
and not just from the flying, I was like sweating from the movie. I was like, I'm very concerned for this man. But it was amazing. It definitely has sat with me. I feel more anxiety remembering that movie than I even feel for the anger that I feel that Magic Mike and its subsequent follow-ups exist, which is really good. But I'm just happy. I'm so happy that Taylor and I that we exist together in this, and that I am not alone, because many times because I'm happy that movie brings people joy. I'm also happy that people got to see a different side of Channing Tatum. Just like when he did 21 Jump Street, I was like, oh, I'm so glad that like comedic timing and stuff like that can be a part of his repertoire. And, you know, that people can see that, because that's a talent. It's not just any actor can do that. I was like, oh man, like I'm so glad people can see this from him. People got to see dramatic stuff from him, and they were very pleased by it. I'm so happy for that. But I'm also happy that I don't have to watch the gyrations and the abs. Too many abs. I have a washing machine. I don't need to see the abs. So, yep. Bye, Mike.
Am I
How
literally
do you feel about Magic Mike Double XL though, Mara?
I refuse to watch these movies.
They
are not made for me.
Wait, Marisol, did you see Magic Mike in a theater?
No. I know. I saw it.
I'm the only one here who saw it in a theater.
You're the
And I love
straightest
that.
man I know, and you're the only one here that saw it in a theater.
I probably wouldn't have been able to
Because
hear the
he's so
movie.
confident
if I saw
in
it
his
theater.
own identity. He's like, I want to go see this movie.
Yeah, that was a weird experience. All right, next up.
No, you want to know the weirdest movie experience ever? When I went and saw Up, because it was right after my mom died, and I was an adult with no children, sobbing in the theater, and I had to be asked to leave.
No.
I have one.
Yeah.
Of those. I have one of stories like that too, which I may get to later. Actually, I may get to because it's kind of related to your thing. All right, next up. Can You Ever Forgive Me versus Hunt for the Wilder People? This is really, really tough one. Adam, you haven't started, so I'm going to go to you.
All right. Well, I have to recuse myself somewhat because I went into this week's bracket. I hadn't seen 9 movies, guys. 9
wow.
I hadn't seen.
9
I got
times.
I got to 5 of the 9. That's pretty good.
It's pretty good.
That's pretty good.
Pretty
Not
good.
gonna lie.
Can You Ever Forgive Me was not one of them, but only the reason I had to deprioritize it was a rental. So like, you know, like we were already renting a more, like we try and prioritize those things. And I still really intend to see this movie. I'm looking forward to it. I'm always rooting for Melissa McCarthy as you know, a dramatic actor, because I've heard nothing but good things in this. And I love Richard E. Grant. I really, really do. Can't say enough good things about that man as a performer. Hunt for the Wilder People is, but it's one of my favorite Taika Waititi movies. You know, in terms of what he's done, I think this and What We Do in the Shadows are way up there for me. I really like Boy as well. And yeah, Thor Ragnarok, sure. But like Hunt for the Wilder People is so cool because you also have Sam Neill, and I am obsessed with Sam Neill. I just am. I love him in everything, including The Omen 3, The Final Conflict. He makes that movie better. Don't argue with me on that. It's a terrible script, but he makes it watchable. Shit script, that movie. But I love him so much. Possession, like he can do no wrong. And he's so good in this because, you know, we get that reluctant curmudgeon tale where you get the little like outspoken kid like under your wing. But Julian Dennison's great in it. I think he's I don't think it's any fault of his. I think he's a talented guy. But I think he has struggled to find like good roles in a lot of stuff since, because he's been typecast in a lot of comedic relief roles, which is a little frustrating to see because he shows his dramatic weight in this movie. He's a really good actor. And Sam Neill establishes the level that they're at, though, from the beginning. And you understand the trajectory of the movie from the outset. It's not that it's subverting a lot of tropes about the way you see an older character soften up with a younger character after they go on a journey. But what distinguishes it is the way it immerses you, in New Zealand, for one, which is really, really cool. And then two, the fact that they are missing, and that's a whole other element. And the fact that the public at large has to speculate as to whether or not foul play is involved. And the way the movie plays out, I don't want to spoil it for anyone who hasn't seen it, but I just love that the movie, similar to The Hunt, but much more lighthearted. You have this element of, is there something nefarious at work here? Is this kid missing for the wrong reasons? But we are going on the journey with these characters, so we know what it's about. But that element's always hanging over it, which I think gives it dramatic weight on top of the development both of them are going through. I could talk a lot more about it, and I'm going to vote for it. But I will watch Can You Ever Forgive Me regardless of the outcome. I just want to say that for everybody. I'm going to watch it. All right.
Yeah, this one's an interesting one. I remember being really surprised by Can You Ever Forgive Me? Going into it, not really knowing what to expect, and being really blown away by the performances, really. Like, it's a great script. Marielle Hellier directs the hell out of it for sure. But Melissa McCarthy's great in it. I remember being so mad the entire award season that Richard E. Grant got dust.
Yep.
He got nothing, and he's so incredible in this role. He's just unbelievable. And it's a movie that I want to rewatch because I haven't watched it since that year. And it's just it's one that's really stuck with me. Yeah, Hunt for the Wilder People, great movie. Definitely up there for Taika in terms of his better work. But I think the thing for me here is going to be like What We Do in the Shadows is kind of my Taika rep. So I'm going to vote for Can You Ever Forgive Me because it's a great movie.
Mara. Oh no.
The Melissa McCarthy of Can You Ever Forgive Me doesn't really work for me. The Richard E. Grant of it really, really does. Overall, I enjoyed the movie, but it's no Hunt for the Wilder People for me just in this fight. I think against something else, it could have taken it. But man, I love this movie so much. I actually was talking about it with someone just on, was it Sunday? Was it yesterday? I don't know. My brain doesn't work. Fever, maybe. I don't know. Sorry. But anyways, they were talking about how much they love Sam Neill. And I was like, oh, have you ever seen Hunt for the Wilder People? And they were like, I don't even know what that is. And I kind of described the movie and I said, you have to see this movie. He's fantastic in it. And I do hope that they end up watching it. But I went into it kind of knowing very little about it other than just primary casting and, of course, the filmmaker. And I saw it at this teeny tiny theater. It was the perfect place to see it. And talk about, like, it's one of those movies that is a feel-good movie, but it's not saccharine and it doesn't make you feel good for, like, the shitty, lazy reasons. It just kind of makes you feel good because it's one of those really human stories. And normally human beings kind of suck, but it's such a charming movie. I do hope people that haven't seen it will give it a shot. And also having just recently been to New Zealand, like, man, New Zealand fucking slaps. So shout out to all the Kiwis out there. They're like just slightly over there, I think. No. There, I think. But yeah. So
it's a good 4 hours. Marisol.
Another tough matchup. So Hunt for the Wilder People. I love how both of these movies, I love how Can You Ever Forgive Me is an ultimately very sad movie with punctuations of wicked humor. And Hunt for the Wilder People is a wickedly funny movie and quirky movie with these punctuations of absolute sadness. And that's always been a brand of Taika with his really personal movies, especially his Kiwi movies. Like this and Boy are of a piece. They're really two sides of the same coin. We talked about Huck Finn energy, we talked about Mark Wayne stuff last week. This absolutely has some Huck Finn energy, Hunt for Wilder People. And I loved this journey the whole way through it. I love the charisma. Taika Waititi has carved out his own brand. He was firing on all cylinders. He was so established with his cinematic voice and his style by this movie that by this time, this is what his like third movie, and I feel I can already explain what a Taika Waititi movie is with this. And you feel that in every frame of Hunt for the Wilder People. You've already mentioned the performances, delightful. Sam Neill, wonderful curmudgeon. Illiterate. I wasn't even expecting that. I love how he has these things that hold him back. I love the balance of the characters, that he's this seasoned like bushman who like style. He knows the way of the forest, but he knows things, but Julian Dennison knows things that he doesn't. Still, I love that balance. Can You Ever Forgive Me would make an excellent double feature with Shattered Glass. I think it's almost the same exact vein of that. Melissa McCarthy is pretending she's such a lonely, sad person, and she's so desperate, and she starts to forge letters and sell them like by famous authors, famous people, and find out that she can just make money keeping her ends meet by just selling them. It's unlike you've never seen her. We think that she's always playing these caricatures, and she's so bitter and upset and reclusive and introverted and angry in this movie. And it's unlike you've ever seen her. And I love that she got nominated for this. Completely understand. I echo what you're saying, Taylor, about the lack of love for Richard E. Grant. And then I just love these are both great odd couple character study movies in a way. There's a lot of similarities with them. But picking between the two, I am going to go with Can You Ever Forgive Me, just to keep this interesting and make you choose, Jacob, because I just really, these are, I think, really equally strong movies. But I relate to the darkness and the sadness. I think I gravitate more towards the darker truths of Can You Ever Forgive Me more.
Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. I'm the same. Richard E. Grant's performance in this is what's putting it over the line for me, and same with Melissa McCarthy's performance. I love this movie so much. I think it is fantastic. Like, don't get me wrong, Hunt for the Wilder People is a phenomenal film, and I also really love Sam Neill's performance in that. Like, it is.
He hates Kiwis.
Yeah, he is.
I've known it for a long time.
Of course he's voting the Kiwi film out. Of course. You're never going to live that down, by the way.
No, I'm not. I'm never going to live that one down.
But
I just...
higher demographic, buddy.
Like, I have never seen Richard E. Grant this good, and I am still to this day. It's one of my most angry, like, robbed of an Oscar ones that I always, because especially given, like, I am very happy that Mahershala Ali is a 2-time Oscar winner, but it's just one of those, like, he had literally won it a year before, and it was for
movie.
King Green Book. Like, it was King Green Book.
No, Yeah, he went in for the better movie first, right?
Yeah, he won it for the better movie first,
I did not reverse
and then
the
he
years.
beat Richard E. Grant for Green Book. Like that's the one I'm just like, I don't know if I'll ever forgive you, the Academy, for that. So
Can you ever forgive me?
Oh, nice.
Sorry. Look, yeah. So I am going with Can You Ever Forgive Me?
Well, thanks. Now I got to pay another $3.99, pal.
Sorry.
It's all right. I was going to watch it anyway.
All right. Next up,
This is gonna be interesting.
Big Hero 6 versus The Greatest Showman. Taylor, I'm gonna give you the wrong
All
way.
right, I'm gonna start because I'm gonna be the only one with positive things to say about this movie. I already know it, so I'm just gonna kick it off, and then everyone else can dunk on it for the whole however long this takes. I unashamedly love The Greatest Showman, and I know everyone hates it and thinks it's terrible and thinks the music is bad and thinks the story's bad and blah, 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 blah. I don't care. Do not care. The story is trash. The songs are amazing. You got Zac Efron and Zendaya falling in love with each other, doing circus shit.
Does have Zendaya.
Like, come on, man. Like, what? This is everything. It's so ridiculous. And it's just like, listen, you got Hugh Jackman, Zac Efron, Michelle Williams, Rebecca Ferguson, Zendaya, killing it in this ridiculous, stupid movie with amazing songs that get stuck in my head every time. And you know what? I'm here for it. Okay, I will be the one that stands up for the musical movie that nobody else likes, and everyone's like, it's not even true to the P.T. Barnum story. They're not even telling the real stuff. Shut the fuck up and watch the musical. God damn it! What is wrong with? Go read a book if you want the freaking biography. What are we doing here? Why does everything have to be real all the time? I just want to watch my dumb circus movie. Greatest Showman. You're welcome.
Marisol, I'm gonna
You gonna make me go after that? What?
Tread lightly.
Look,
because you were
Someone's gotta
dying
follow
of
it up.
laughter, and I was like, and you were looking at her like, Jesus.
look.
Say something.
I want to be honest, but I don't want to incur the wrath of the Tower of Taylor over there. I just don't want to.
Listen, I know what's coming. Okay, I had to preemptively be like on the offensive because I know what's coming. So just
She hears it enough from
just
me.
have it. Just let it all out. I know what's coming.
Well, I'll take it one step further and say that I'm not the biggest fan of Big Hero 6, so I'll be batting. I've been
hearing about this for a while.
Batting 1,000 over here. I just
San Francisco, really? What is this?
No.
Sorry. I'll shut up. Sorry.
It's gonna be a legendary matchup.
I'm gonna keep
An
this hater.
all-timer.
I'm gonna start off this hater train strong,
Yeah.
man. So because I just think
More doesn't go through, but one of these is.
I know. Big Hero 6 I find very derivative of a lot of other movies. I like it. I like it enough. I think it's really cute, and I understand that there's so many people who do love it. I agree, Jeremy. Baymax is adorable, but it also when I watch Big Hero 6, I get such uncomfortably strong Iron Giant vibes, even some T2 vibes in there. It's just so Iron Giant, that movie. And Iron Giant is like, I think, a vastly better movie. But Big Hero 6 is colorful, mashes two cities together, creates a fun new location and setting. I really don't like that it ends with just a giant explosion of like a space battle of like everything, or just you just feel like you're just suddenly like a video game. I really can't stand the climax of it. I think it's just overblown for what's a very simple-hearted story. But it's still better than The Greatest Showman. so yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Taylor already said a lot of stuff. I'm gonna say, but I feel like I want to save Michelle Williams in that movie so much. I feel like she's giving Stepford wife like imprisoned help
Oh
me
yeah.
eyes.
Oh yeah, yeah.
frozen
No,
help
she
me
needs
eyes
to
in
get
that whole
the hell out of
movie.
there. Yeah, yeah.
She's like save me. Like
Eject me.
she seems so confused, acting so happy to be like married and to Hugh Jackman and singing and like it's so weird to watch Michelle Williams in that movie. I feel it's bizarre. I feel like somebody had her like I just feel like somebody had a gun like right outside the frame of the camera. They're like, now act, now smile and be happy. She's like, can I just make like Blue Valentine 2, please? Like I just really want to like not do
Manchester
this.
by the Sea.
Yes. Oh, right. That's right. Manchester by the Sea. Yes. But yeah. Yeah. Greatest Showman. I'm voting for Big Hero 6. Let's move on.
Lara?
Yeah. I don't think anyone is surprised that I don't love The Greatest Showman. I don't need to say any more because I don't want to hurt people. I really enjoy Big Hero 6. I don't mind the heavy homages. I like the aesthetic a lot. I think it's cute. I mean, it doesn't have a lot of like heavy, important messaging per se. It's a little bit more of a fluff movie, but it's cute. And, you know, I don't know, it's cute. But I don't know. I have nothing more to add. I don't want to hurt people.
Adam?
Yeah. I mean, this one's kind of a non-starter for me, man.
Oh, right. That's right. It
What?
beat How to Train Your Dragon 2 that year.
Oh,
Come on.
that's why you were.
That's why I
extra
really got
pissed.
upset. There was like there is something I really got mad at Big Hero
Yeah.
6, which isn't its fault.
'Cause-
But it beat How to Train Your Dragon 2.
Look,
That got me mad.
Well, I'll tell you what I remember about Big Hero 6. When she finally saw it, I heard about it for a week. And it was like, you know what? It's not a bad movie. It's just that it's just that it's Big Hero 6. I'm like, I know.
What do you think?
Okay. Big Hero 6 is fun. Greatest Showman. I saw it, and I'm gonna vote for Big Hero 6. I don't have a whole lot to add to this
That's
particular. I've seen both movies. I will vote for Big Hero 6. Minimal shade on both sides. Let's all be friends.
Yeah. Big Hero 6 is for me one that like I agree with a lot of what you were saying, Marisol, but I think a lot of it I saw it in 2014. So I think that helps because Disney hadn't done the same formula for the next decade with the same movie. And I think because that's my biggest biggest problem with films like Encanto and what was it, Strange Worlds? Yeah, where I just was like, I've seen this movie for the last decade. And I think that's why Big Hero 6 doesn't quite have that yet because it hadn't done that. So like I think Big Hero 6 is cute. I think there's a lot of that about it that does work for me. I agree with you with Iron. It is definitely Iron Giant, very inspired by Iron Giant. And yeah, so I am also I am going to go Big Hero 6.
You know, I feel very loved by this panel because no one was willing to just break my heart the way I know they wanted to by going in on this movie, and I appreciate that.
All right.
You're thinking of you, Taylor.
This one,
We also saw what you did to Magic Mike, and we don't want to be Magic Mike. Yeah.
I am.
You and Mara eviscerated Magic Mike.
I watched that shit.
That was,
And I do not like beefcake.
I was not ready for that.
Oh no.
Waves versus the Artist.
Attacked.
I'm attacked.
I've
I'm on Taylor's soapbox here. I feel like Taylor here. I know everybody shits on the artist now because I feel like it's trendy to shit on the artist.
All right.
But I love the artist.
No, Marisol, you go because
Why don't you just let this
Just kick
one
it
go?
off.
No,
Let's do it.
Yeah, Marisol, I want you kick it off.
Okay, yeah, I feel like I don't know what happened. I don't know. I mean, I know that there can be some backlash against Best Picture winners, but damn, like everybody's like, ew, the artist. Like I feel like in the last over the last 10 years, and I'm like, what did the artist do? I was like, I thought like who cares what other people think? I'm just talking about what I feel. And I think that it's a dazzling movie, and paying homage. This is the fine line that kind of we were just talking about. Paying homage without feeling like you're derivative. And I think that the artist is it's A Star Is Born. It's that story. It's except for silent era actors. It's a young silent era or a young talkie actress rising to prominence as the silent era actor that she falls in love with is fading from prominence. It is A Star Is Born. It's literally that plot, but it's just so lavishly done and lavishly presented with two absolutely sparkling lead performances. I think the talent, the cast, the production, the direction, everything elevates that project off the ground and makes it really something special. And it's a silent film. It's takes that a step further, and it actually is a full silent film. And I think that it nails it. It set out to pay homage to all this stuff while actually honoring it by excelling at it, not feeling like you're just copying. You actually made a spectacular example of the genre that you're paying respects to. I was here for all the love that the artist got. I own it. And I rewatch it every now and then. And I think it's pretty stunning. And I do feel painstakingly those details. Like I feel more than you watch something like Mank, which I don't think quite succeeds. So I'm looking at something from that era, in brand sparkling new dance shoes, tap shoes. And Waves on the other side is a super, super important tragedy kind of movie that a lot of movies about tragedies usually just end with the tragedy. Like a sad movie builds towards a tragedy and then ends and leaves you with that. Waves is a very, very special movie about a tragedy that happens to a family, that the tragedy happens halfway through the movie. So it shows a lead up to the tragedy. And the second half of the movie is about what happens in life, is recovering and healing and moving on. And how a family copes after something terrible has happened. And that's such I think kind of an under highlighted thing that you don't see happen in films as often, and happen with a cast this stacked. Kelvin Harrison Jr., fucking Sterling K. Brown for the win. And this movie was Taylor Russell's breakout. And she carries the back half of this movie beautifully. The acting is just so strong in this movie. And the themes, Trey Edward Schultz's themes in these movies are gorgeous. It's gorgeous to see a script so in sync with its plot, its character arcs, and its themes. Just so in sync. This is fucking tough for me. But I started this with my passionate island defense, like Lonely Island defense of the artist. So I'm going to stick with the artist. I'm going to come back and stick with the artist. That's all I have to say.
You've been chomping at the bit for this one.
This one is so interesting to me. Okay, so we saw Waves at a screening. Didn't know what I was walking into. Big mistake. Very big mistake to have no idea what I was walking into with this movie. Because it's one of those movies where I watched it and was so like deeply emotionally affected by it that I walked out and went, that was amazing. I don't think I can ever watch it again for my own like mental, it's so beautifully told. As Marisol said, it's so beautifully acted. I don't remember if this was first or Words on Bathroom Walls was first, but we saw them both around the same time. And I went, wow, Taylor Russell is like, I walked out of the theater. I was like, one day, her day is coming. And now she's killing it at her first Met Gala appearance, literally right now as we're doing this. So I'm so stoked about that. This cast is amazing. And it's so unique to have that perspective of actually getting to watch the fallout of the tragedy and how a family deals with it or doesn't deal with it, or what that kind of looks like, just from a devastation perspective. And I think that is so special. And it's not something we really see a lot of. The Artist I watched for the first time, God, what was it, last year? I think. I hadn't seen The Artist, so it was one that I had to catch up with. And after I watched The Artist, I was like, okay, my new favorite trilogy is Singing in the Rain, The Artist, and Babylon. That's my new favorite trilogy. And that's just how it's, that's okay, cool, awesome. I'm making that a box set personally. And that's just how that's going to go. And I appreciated so much about The Artist, the cinematography, the chemistry of the two leads, just the whimsy of the film, through the ups and the downs in the story, the silent sound design was great, and it wasn't a movie I went into with really any expectations other than kind of knowing it had the reputation for being the overrated, quote unquote, Best Picture winner, and I went out of it going, why do people hate good thing? I don't understand. Like, what are we doing here? There are Best Picture winners we can talk about being overrated, but The Artist is not in the top 300,000 of those. But like, that's just not what we're doing here. So this is a really tough one because they're so different and they contribute such different, amazing things to film. And I think the thing that's going to have to help me make this decision, because there's not really a lot of common ground that I can kind of put them up against each other. But I think the thing I'm going to have to go with is, which one do I want to watch? And I cannot watch Waves again. I will die inside if I have to watch Waves again. Like, it's a fantastic movie, but I'm going to put The Artist on. No, I'm going to put Singing in the Rain on. Then I'm going to put The Artist on. And then I'm going to put on Babylon. And I'm going to have a great night, not thinking about Waves.
Mara?
So I agree with basically everything Taylor said, except for the opposite reason. I 100% would watch Waves again because I'm a masochist and I want to feel the pain. So I'm going to vote for Waves because I want nothing more than to hurt myself.
I respect it, honestly. I respect it.
Adam?
Yeah, Waves was one I caught up with in the past week. So glad I finally did, because I've seen It Comes at Night, and I'm very fond of Krisha, his debut film. Very fond of that film. And I'm so glad I saw this. I found it to be completely arresting, like from the outset. I was sucked in, and for a movie over 2 hours, it's paced really well. For something that could have ended up feeling very episodic, it flows in a very natural way. Last week, I mentioned briefly, I struggled with Girl with the Dragon Tattoo because of how episodic it felt as a feature. And Waves threaded that needle. It did the opposite for me. And I think the shift between Tyler and Emily, the siblings, is just done so well. And Sterling K. Brown, that man, the tear ducts on him are just like, his ability is fantastic. Just like they're completely on call whenever he needs them. And his also his ability to not blink, because I felt like he was my disappointed father so much throughout this movie, and I only wrestled through the second grade, and I gave up, but I still felt all of that stuff, and everything feels earned in this. All the characters feel well-rounded, and I think what's also cool about Trey Edward Schultz as a filmmaker, and this is why I love Ari Aster so much, is, like, it's easy to like say like It Comes at Night is a horror movie, but it's more of a drama with some horror flavor. Krisha is like an anxiety drama that feels horrific, and there's so much horror for me watching Waves. It flavors a lot of the narrative. The score is made me like the whole, like the first like 70 minutes, because this is a long movie, but the first like 70 minutes I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop until it finally does. But like like every scene, it's like, here's this thing over here that might cause a situation. I'm like, okay. Like we go to all kinds of crazy places in the first half of that movie where you think something's going to happen. The tension was so great. And just to say with the artist, I agree with all the praise. Everyone's been mentioning that. Taylor, apt comparison to Singing in the Rain, because when I saw this film, it brought me back to that moment, and not just because of the silent era depiction, but the way it celebrates movies in a way that's not cheap or forced, and really just resonates with me. And the only complaint I have with the success of the artist isn't with the movie itself. It's with the fact that there was a great opportunity for us to reclaim silent cinema as a subgenre, and we still can. It's right there. And there's this really cool, like, small budget, like Call of Cthulhu silent movie that was made like 12 years ago that no one talks about. And it looks like it was made in the 20s. It looks awesome. Like, people should do stuff like that. So I think the artist is terrific, but the Waves really resonated with me. The Waves. I'm my mom. Waves really resonated with me, and I'm voting for it.
You're on
great.
Jacob.
So I get to decide to vote. Crap.
Yay!
Your turn to suffer.
Damn. I was really, really, really hoping I wouldn't have to do this because I don't know.
Yeah, take it, butthead.
Your turn.
Because
Talk it out. Talk it out.
So I agree with everything you guys have said about Waves. I think Waves is such a powerful film. So it reminds me of a movie that didn't make the bracket that after I had built it and we were about 2 weeks in, I realized I went,
Holy Motor?
No, Place Beyond the Pines. It reminds me a lot of that. And but I also think the direction and going with, I think, exploring abuse and abuse from the eyes of teenagers is the really interesting aspect of this. And I think the way that it handles Sterling K. Brown's character, I think Taylor Russell is phenomenal in this movie, like absolutely incredible. I think Lucas Hedges as well, like just randomly turning up halfway through the film, and like it's not like he's there in the beginning, obviously, and then turns up, it becomes a major character later in the film, and he's just like, oh, okay. Everything about Waves is so good. I love everything. But then like the artist, I like Marisol, you're on the right panel because I think all of us like love the artist. So like yeah. I love this movie, and I'm gonna go with what I said to you when you were watching it, and we sat and I was on the couch, and then I went, this is why it won Best Picture, and it's why it's getting my vote, and it's where it's when the reveal that he's French, and I think that alone, it's why it won Best Picture, and it's just this great little moment of it explains the entire movie, and I love Waves. Waves is a phenomenal movie and deserved to go through, but the artist is too, and I'm going to go with the artist.
It's almost like these two could have been matched up against the last round. Talk about them for another week, but you know.
All right. Next up, Bridge of Spies versus Fruitvale Station. Okay. I'm going to go up the front and just say very quickly, Bridge of Spies is a very, very good movie. It ain't Fruitvale Station. Fruitvale Station, what Ryan Coogler does this is one of the greatest directorial debuts of just, oh, I'm here, by the way, I have ever seen. It is phenomenal. Michael B. Jordan in this movie is heartbreaking and incredible. Octavia Spencer is awesome. This is just a fantastic movie. If you have not seen Fruitvale Station, you have to. As good as Bridge of Spies is, I've seen Spielberg do better. I've seen everyone in this cast do better, except Mark Rylance, who I like is incredible in this film. But Fruitvale Station is, I still think it's Coogler's best film. Like, I think it's his most personal. I think it's his most raw, and just you can feel it through the entire thing. So I'm going Fruitvale Station. Adam.
Yeah. Bridge of Spies was one of the final Spielberg movies I saw in the past couple years. Like, I just had to catch up with it. And then you helped me round out with War Horse. Thank you for that gift. That was a thrill. I like Bridge of Spies more than War Horse. I will say that. I found it to be very illuminating. What's that?
That's a ringing endorsement that you like.
Yeah, I know. War Horse felt like a parody of itself, but it's over. Why do I keep bringing it up? Like, I can't let it go.
He's a war horse.
That was another rental, man. That's why I can't let it go. No, Bridge of Spies. Bitch. I'm gonna write those off on my taxes. Bridge of Spies is solid though, and I think anyone who hasn't seen it, especially if they're a fan of history, should seek it out and watch it at least once. It's very interesting, solid performances from beginning to end. But Fruitvale Station is a devastating drama, really, really effective, and just so immediate and immersive in the way it's presented. Ryan Coogler is just one of those filmmakers who just had an eye for the art, you can tell. And Fruitvale Station was just something I can tell was just in his head. It just was there, and he just needed, a few basic tools and a good cast to put it on camera, and then it was realized. He's such a willful filmmaker, and I really find that so impressive about everything he's done so far. And I think Fruitvale Station gets it at all the best things he's done. And I love the Creed movies. And granted, he only directed the first, but you feel his influence on the sequels. And I also think the Black Panther movies are awesome, but I am eager, very, very eager for him to do an original film again, because Fruitvale Station is so, so good. And yeah, like there's a lot of movies that take place, within a span of hours, a day, what have you. And this is one of those short spans of time where everything happens. And Michael B. Jordan gives a great performance. Octavia Spencer, right? Is his mother. Yeah, she's excellent.
Yeah,
and
I missed that question. Thanks for that. Thanks for.
God damn it, Jacob! Look what you did. Look what you did. This is on you. Fruitvale Station is my vote.
Oh,
there you go.
Just getting thrown under the bus here.
Look what you did.
Marisol?
The crowd.
Yeah, this is absolutely Fruitvale Station for me. It's not really close. Bridge of Spies kind of reminds me of Bridge of Spies is kind of in the vein of like King's Speech for me, and where I before you run away with that, thinking of that, I just mean that like a whole setup in a long movie to kind of set up an event to set up something that's a little underwhelming. I mean, an important moment, like something to read about, a cool moment in history, but not really cinematic to flesh out the story of how we got there. That's why I felt watching Bridge of Spies. Like, I think it was kind of building up. I feel like Spielberg was building up like the sideline drama in that movie and kind of building up things more to feel like this was an event. And it was, I mean, it was an important moment within the war. Like it was a notable moment that happened, but I don't think it needed a whole movie to like build up that moment. I'm in the minority with that though. It just makes it an underwhelming film experience for me. And Fruitvale Station, the beginning of Coogler's many partnerings with his muse, Michael B. Jordan. And I remember this movie being, for me, this movie came out weirdly, like almost like right on the heels of when Trayvon Martin got murdered. And so that just added like a whole nother kind of layer to the tragedy of Fruitvale Station and this story. And we just really, really need just bracingly human, quiet, intimate dramas like that. It's a wonderful movie. I hope we talk about it more. I haven't rewatched it for the bracket, but I look forward to rewatching it. And it beats Bridge of Spies just on simple human impact, human interest, and feelings alone.
Mara?
Normally, a movie made for effectively old white men would be my bread and butter, because for some reason movies that are targeted at your dad are really movies that I enjoy. But Bridge of Spies just did not work for me, which is sad because Spielberg is my favorite living director. And yeah, I felt no impact from it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I felt nothing. It was an emotionless film for me. And there's so much feeling in Fruitvale Station, and it's such a simultaneously raw but polished film. And as a debut, that's just such a needle to thread. And everyone else said so many glowing things, and I'm just like happy that we're going to talk about it more. So I will yield the rest of my time towards whatever is going to come next. But Fruitvale Station is just like, it was, as Marisol mentioned, like the timing of it could not have been sadly more appropriate. But yeah, it's just something that we need to keep talking about. So yeah, really happy it's going to keep going.
It wasn't the shooting, it was the trial. That's when it came out. It came out a month after the acquittal, and that was the yeah. So
that's even
more
of a gut punch. Yeah,
it's also just like it happens and it happens again.
Oh,
and it
yeah.
happens again.
Oh yeah. Well, it itself is based on a true story. So then then another situation. Yeah.
Tell.
Fruitvale Station.
Fair. All right. Well, we got a slightly more upbeat one. MacGruber versus Her.
I disagree. I
was wondering what MacGruber was
tragic
gonna be
films
up
to have ever been made in the history of film.
I was waiting to see what MacGruber was going to be up against.
Adam,
gonna be a wacky
I'm just gonna let because I have a feeling I know where you're going with this. So I'm gonna let you go first with this one.
Who?
You.
Adam, you.
Me?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. God, MacGruber is just. Look, I really do. I do like MacGruber. I'm not going to deny that fact. I don't rewatch it a ton, but the thing that was just so wonderful the first time I saw it was the feeling of like I did enjoy that little run of SNL movies and SNL adjacent movies. They weren't all necessarily based on a sketch, but they came from that 90s cast. Especially I grew up with a lot of those, and Wayne's World 1 and 2 are two of my favorite comedies of all time, unequivocally. I love them both and quote them endlessly. So MacGruber recaptures that spirit. It's irreverent, yes, but it's irreverent in the best way because it just dismisses so many conventions in such a wonderful way. It's absurd to the point of being homicidal. Literally, I love all of the mayhem and bloodshed in that movie that's pointless, and how incidental it feels. I appreciate that there is, ghost coitus in this film. There is so much to unpack in MacGruber that is like so literal and stupid, and I really, really appreciate MacGruber. And Her, another movie from the 2010s that I saw so late. Oh my God. Like this was the movie that like constantly, like I was that person who hadn't seen it for years. And to the point I was like, fine, I'm just not going to watch it for a while because now I'm pissed. And then I watched it. I was like, okay, I like this. I really like this movie. I love how understated the production design is. I miss Spike Jonze. Like Being John Malkovich is one of my favorite comedies. It's one of my favorite movies of the 90s, easily. And I love all of the humor and genuine emotion that her balances really, really well. I know there is a very strong, like vocalization for why Scarlett Johansson deserves recognition for her performance in this. And I do agree. I think it's a good voiceover performance. It's awesome. And it shows you what you can do with vocal performance. I really, really like her. I also really, really like her's chances here. Okay. So I'm going to vote with my heart here and go with MacGruber because I do think I want to say I think Her is a stronger movie, but it's also comparing, apples and grenades. Like I don't, it's not the same. And MacGruber cracks me up and it's so stupid. And I miss movies of its ilk. I miss comedies like that reach for complete stupidity. But Her is sharp and it's meaningful. And it affected me when I saw it. I'm not going to deny it. And I would watch it again. But I really think it's going to win. I don't want to jinx it, but I think it's going to win. So I'm going to vote for MacGruber.
Swear to God. Taylor.
Causing some chaos in here because I'm going for MacGruber also.
Oh, shit.
MacGruber!
Listen. I'm sure that Her is great. Okay. I'm sure it is. Okay, cool. Awesome. MacGruber is one of the few comedies in the modern era that I actually like. It actually makes me laugh and I actually have fun with it. It is so stupid and it's my favorite thing ever. It's so absurd. And I'm just like, yes, please, thank you, some more. Absolutely. I'm sure I'll get around to watching Her at some point, especially if it makes it through. But you know what? No. Mm-mm.
Mara.
All right. I would like to say, first and foremost, that voice actors are actors. And I'm so happy that we're having this conversation, especially as a lover of anime. This is a toughie. I miss the era of this type of Joaquin Phoenix movie. Not, whatever is happening later.
MacGruber. Jesus, not MacGruber.
But I also love chaos, and I'm gonna vote for MacGruber.
Jesus. Oh my goodness.
And I also love Taylor, so this is I'm feeling so much love and energy here. So and also the movie slaps. So
It's so good.
What is happening?
This is your fault, by the way.
do you want to
brought this
throw a
upon your
fuck you
own
Mara
house.
over here? Because it'll be the first one. But I'm okay with it. I'm ill. I can blame it on illness, but you know what? I won't. This is pure willpower here. I choose chaos.
Get off. You know what?
I'm like,
Someone's very happy about this. I'm just saying. Someone agrees with this. All right.
Oh, this is like, okay. Oh, okay.
I'm gonna need to make myself a protein shake after this.
You're gonna be okay.
Marisol, I think you and I just need to have just.
Jacob, I need you right now. I never thought I'd say this, but like this is the only time I haven't wanted to say "fuck you, Jacob." I just wanted to be like, Jacob, help me.
Taylor, we need to
What
brace
the fuck
ourselves
just
for
happened?
a vindictive vote later in this bracket.
Oh, there's one coming.
I'm scared.
I started this night being like, I'm gonna laugh whatever MacGruber is against because, like, just because it was gonna be fun. I knew it was gonna be fun to talk about MacGruber, and then I was gonna immediately imagine whatever movie it's against with MacGruber in the movie.
I can't wait to rewatch MacGruber.
And
now.
I wanna watch a cut of her with
you.
MacGruber. No, with MacGruber in the whole movie.
Yes. I like MacGruber.
I
I like MacGruber. Sorry, go ahead, Marisol. Go ahead.
no, it's a we can okay. Look,
We
I-
first Jacob.
I think MacGruber is fucking funny. I you know, and I will say this. Like, so a lot of these SNL sketches we've seen so many times where like, yeah, like it doesn't quite work as a whole movie. And of course, there's a lot of jokes that don't land in MacGruber, just the same way on a regular episode of SNL. There's a lot of jokes that don't land. It's what happens. It's okay. I love that SNL had the balls to just make a fucking R-rated comedy, and I love that they just went for it and skipped over the safe little PG-13. They took that risk. They were like, you know what, MacGruber's gonna be rated R. If we're gonna make a feature film, we're gonna drop all the F-bombs. We're gonna actually make it worth being a movie and not a sketch on television. It deserves a props for that, and it is stupid fun. It is funny. There's a lot of stupid, absurd stuff, and we do need more of this again. Like Barb and Star Go to Vista Del Mar was
movie's brilliant.
Was like a little needle shot in the arm of like, oh my god, yes, we need these just absurdist comedies again. And MacGruber was that, but damn, it is not her. I feel like I can't believe it's beating her. I still can't believe it's fucking beating her. This is upsetting. Like,
Come on, you guys all know I don't have feelings.
This is wild. This is wild, and I would not have predicted this. I just love movies about loneliness. They are, I think, some of the most emotionally honest films you'll ever find out there in the world.
MacGruber's very lonely. His wife died.
but man, I can rewatch her again and again and again. I love it. I love how low-key sexy it is. ScarJo has just like the sexiest voice. And I love how there's sexual tension between a fucking disembodied voice and Joaquin Phoenix in card writing paunch nerd mode, whatever you want to call it, like just like depressed lonely guy mode. I love that there's sexual tension. I love how you have like a sexy movie between a guy and a disembodied voice. It doesn't feel creepy. It never feels creepy, but it says so much about the dependency that people have on just their basic needs when you get really lonely. I think there's so much truth in her, and I love sad romance, and we can learn so much from that. And I think there's so much to gain out of this movie, and I think it's a really special movie and a fucking unique movie, unlike any romance that's ever been told. And I'm so sad it's going. MacGruber's really stupid fun, but man, I'm gonna pour one out for her. I'm shook. I am shook.
I echo everything there, and Mari, you said it earlier. Like, can we go back to this, Joaquin, please? Like, Joaquin's fantastic in this, he's playing a type of his characters, but also completely against type. Like in Marisol, you kind of nailed it. It's never creepy. Like this, the balance that this manages to find, where it's never perverted or creepy or gross or like you're looking at him going, oh, you're just this weird sicko. Mm-hmm. It's not. It's a love story, and it's just a weird love story. I love her, and MacGruber is fun, but Jesus.
You did this to yourself. You did this to yourself.
This next one's gonna hurt me specifically.
Honestly, this may be where I get vindictive. Actually, no, not on this movie. Not on this movie. God damn it.
Anyway,
Knives Out versus Moonlight.
I can't handle this twice. Look, if I get heartbroken twice in a row, I'm gonna be like violently ill. Oh my.
Taylor.
I'm gonna start.
Yeah.
Okay. How can I say this without people getting the wrong idea? As a woman who is white and perceived to be very straight, I want to say that voting for Knives Out doesn't mean what people think it's going to mean. Because I love Rian Johnson, and I will always vote for a Rian Johnson movie. And this one specifically, I think, is so unique and so special. And it's something that really got the world excited for these kind of murder mystery movies that we hadn't gotten in a really long time. I think the cast ensemble is phenomenal. Like, the casting director deserves all the awards for this one. I think the script is really clever. I think the directing style just really suits the tone of the film and the genre while still making it fresh. I think the score is fantastic as well and doesn't get talked about enough. And Moonlight is obviously brilliant, but like from a personal level, like Knives Out just like it just has that special place for me. But like, I'm not going to sit here and be like, wow, I can't believe people are going to vote for Moonlight. Like, obviously I understand the situation here. I have to give Knives Out its one vote that it's going to get here is what I'm saying. Like, I'm just going to get that out of the way and then we can move on and I can just like get over it.
Mara.
It's not going to get just one vote. I am also going to vote for Knives Out. Rian Johnson does not always work for me. That has been made very clear in the past, much to the chagrin of the Star Wars community. And I love Moonlight. Talk about one of the most gorgeously shot films, beautifully written, wonderfully acted. It's super touching. But I have to applaud the fact that I actually enjoyed a whodunit that told me who did it in the first act. And that has such great nonlinear storytelling and can have a large ensemble cast of essentially all A-listers without feeling crammed. That has fully fleshed out characters that have their own unique identities. And that is so thoroughly rewatchable. I've seen this. I saw it in theaters 3 times. It was because I dragged people to go subsequent viewings. I saw it at a screening. And then I was like, oh, you have to go with me. Oh, you have to go with me. And then after it came out, I had people over and I was like, oh, you have to watch this with me. Oh, you have to watch this with me. And there's things to glean from it. And partially because of the fact that Rian Johnson does not always appeal to me. This movie is just so clever. It's such a clever movie. And I love the production design of it, the overall aesthetic of it. I also champion a movie that can make a bodily function actually be funny. And the puke joke is genuinely funny. And normally Emesis is probably my least favorite thing in the entire world. I'd rather there just be a shit joke because Emesis is just icky to me. And part of it is maybe a little bit of rewatchability, but part of it is also surprise. I totally expected Moonlight to be beautiful and to be touching and to be genuine and to tell a significant and important story. I expected Knives Out to be frivolous, trivial, just another way to subvert my expectations just to provoke me, instead of subverting my expectations in a way that was so smart, and not smart to make the filmmaker be smart because it was written intelligently, not to make them feel superior, but to just write something good. So that's why I'm going to vote for Knives Out.
Marisol?
Getting a little nervous.
Mm.
I'm getting a little nervous. But I'm definitely gonna be voting for Moonlight. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if I really want to get into it right now. I don't even know if I really want to get into it. I don't know. I don't know if I want to get into it. How overrated I think Knives Out is, but I'm not even going to use that word because that's a trigger word. It just polarizes every time. I regret even saying it. But it doesn't matter. I'm not going to talk about it. I'm talking about why I just think Moonlight. I hope Moonlight wins. Why I vote for Moonlight is because of how extremely difficult it is. Everybody can write. Not everybody can write. We see clever scripts a lot, and I think we underestimate how difficult it is to understate a story and have it hit every single emotional beat while operating on almost like a minimalist level. And that is a very, 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 very fine frequency. It's really hard to chip into. And when you see it and you see it nailed by somebody who makes it look easy, it's really easy to take for granted. But Moonlight is a film operating on that kind of razor thin it had been a while since I've seen a movie say so much, use such primal and understated basic skills as a whew, getting a little flustered. I adore Heads Tails Moonlight, obviously. I think that the patience and the delicacy of the directing by Barry Jenkins is out of this world. I think that the intimacy of the story and the patience of the story and the way that it is told in the arcs is incredibly beautiful. And I think how delicate the score is by Nicholas Bridle, the Succession guy. That score lives rent-free in my head with its simplicity. And I think it's very special when a movie this quiet about this personal of a story, I think speaks to something that we all feel and that a lot of people can relate to beyond just the optics of the demographic or the gender or the sexuality of the character, the main characters. When again, it speaks to isolation and loneliness. Those kind of stories relate to all of us on some way, because at their core, those emotions are present. Those feelings of isolation and loneliness and longing and looking to belong exist in all of us to varying degrees, but especially in the protagonist in this movie. And I'm so happy it got all the flowers that it got. And I just think it's a much more powerful and impactful movie than Knives Out. So it easily gets my vote. Sorry for being long-winded. I just really, really, really love Moonlight.
Adam?
Yeah, when you announced this shit last week, I was like, thanks, man. Thanks. I knew she was not going to be thrilled about that matchup. And for my part, I think both of these movies have a lot you can take away from them. For me personally, I'm going to cut to the chase. I will tell you I am voting for Moonlight, and I'm going to try and be succinct here. I think Knives Out is fun. I think it's fun. And I love having an excuse to throw great actors together. I'm here for that all the time, especially in a premise like this. I like Knives Out more than the sequel, personally. And I'm a little concerned that Rian Johnson's getting boxed in with these movies. Personally, I know that's not the discussion we're having, but I'm just being honest. I wanted him to go do something else, and I know he's doing another one of these now, so I'm like, okay. But I do think what's really cool about it is the way it's popularized ensemble throwbacks. Whether in the vein of a murder mystery is cool, but it doesn't always have to be in that mold. Just having a reason to get an ensemble together, to get them to play off each other. I think Kenneth Branagh's Murder on the Orient Express is underrated in terms of the way he directs the actors. It's the same movie. It's the same story in a lot of ways. And I like the Sidney Lumet version better. But I think the success of that movie is what led to Knives Out happening. And I want to give credit where credit's due. But Rian Johnson did something unique in the sense of popularizing something that's well-worn territory with a great ensemble cast. My biggest issue with Knives Out is honestly that I wanted more from some of the characters in it, and not arbitrarily. I didn't want just screen time for the sake of screen time. But once I saw the movie and realized how a good portion of that cast was really just kind of stepping through the scenery, I was a little frustrated by that, and that colored my first viewing of the film, I'll admit. I've only rewatched it once, and I did like it better the second time, since I had those expectations in place. But at the end of the day, for me, Knives Out has a ceiling, and I think it's a fun ceiling to hit. I laugh. I think it's clever. But Moonlight is a deeply meaningful movie to me to watch. I think when you look at this and Waves and Florida Project, you've got like Florida's obviously this insane backdrop. It can be when it's written from people who understand what it's like to actually live in a part of the country that's like Florida, if not Florida itself. And it has its own ecosystem, literally and socially, and so many ways. It's different living down in Florida. I have family down in Florida, and it just is. And I love the different eras Moonlight depicts. I love how understated the time periods are, how it is the time it is without needle drops. I think having three distinct actors all feel of a piece is a really unique accomplishment. And I think Barry Jenkins directs the hell out of all of them. I think it's one of the best picture winners of the 2010s, hands down, without qualifiers. And I just think it is. And I think Knives Out is a fun and accessible movie, and I think it deserves to be celebrated for being a fun murder mystery ensemble comedy. But Moonlight means more to me personally, and that's why I vote for it.
Crap. All right.
Yeah, dude.
You're going through it tonight with having to be these tiebreakers.
I know. We had the week that Taylor was like the tiebreaker.
Yeah.
Poor Taylor had to be the tiebreaker all the time. Now it's Jacob this week. I'm sweaty. I'm sweating.
So, I think, Adam, you summed it up, where Knives Out is the fun one. And I have so much fun and rewatchability with Knives Out. But Moonlight is the more impactful, more deeper, more trying to say something movie. I fuck it. I'm going Moonlight. And I'm going Moonlight because I want Moonlight to go through so that I can actually push myself to watch this goddamn movie again, and I can, and you know what? It's a reward for you backing me with her. And
okay, wait a minute. If I can start bribing people,
I told you this was going to happen, Taylor. I told you.
People. I'm going to start bribing people.
Taylor's like, you set that precedent, dude.
If you're setting the precedent here, I'm going to start making alliances behind the scenes.
She's like, this could get ugly.
I have no part of this.
I don't know.
I my feels.
Like, the two that I have so far been very like, I'm split. I don't know. Like, the way they keep talking about Moonlight, I'm just like, God damn it, am I going to regret this? And I just think I'm going to. And I'm like, no, I'm going to go Moonlight for this one. And yeah, I'm going to go Moonlight. And I have. Yeah, and I'm going to be sleeping on a couch for a week.
You're a traitor.
I know. All right.
You can sleep on our couch, Jacob.
Yeah, drive on over. And real quick, I just have to say, I forgot to mention this last week. It really threw me when I watched Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, never having seen it, and Plumber and Daniel Craig. Like, they were in like the same study from Knives Out, it looked like. I was like, what is going on?
The irony being that they didn't share any scenes in Knives Out.
Exactly. I was like, is this I was like, I have deja vu, but not really.
All right. I'm gonna get myself out of this one. We're not done.
The bracket's not over tonight.
We've got about an hour left. I'm just saying.
I'm spent.
I was going to go with the Muppets all week. I have been going. I'm going to go with the Muppets because the reason I didn't go with Knives Out, which was the Muppets is more fun. I can rewatch it. I found out something about myself just then with Moonlight. I'm going to go with Beautiful Boy. I am going with Beautiful Boy because it is a movie I will never, ever watch again, most likely, because it was so heartbreaking and so hard to watch and just so difficult. But my God, Timothée Chalamet's performance in this, and I'm so, like, it's the best I've ever seen him because I'm not massive on Timothée Chalamet. I love him in Dune. We talked about it when we did Call Me by Your Name. I think he's extremely good in it, but I'm not massive on that movie. He is phenomenal in this, and the fact he didn't get nominated for this broke my heart, and I have no idea. So I'm going to go with Beautiful Boy because I've found out something about myself doing this bracket, and so I'm going with Beautiful Boy. Taylor?
Nope.
Okay. Marisol.
It's a palate cleanser for me. Yeah, Beautiful Boy is a palate cleanser. Imagine that. But yeah. Yes. Just went through it. What movies? Oh, the Muppets and Beautiful
They're
Boy.
right there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, they are. Muppets. Beautiful Boy. I totally agree. Movies. I totally agree. Movies are movies. I totally agree, Jacob. Beautiful Boy. If for anybody who thought like, oh, I don't get it, Timothée Chalamet, like, I like him and Call Me by My Name, like him in Dune, but he's pretty stoic and cold and detached. I feel like if you watch, I guess Wonka changed that for some people. But if you watch Beautiful Boy, where you just see him just like ripping, like digging and pulling out all those emotions to the forefront, he is just laid bare in Beautiful Boy. And really, and Steve Carell is matching him like beat for beat. Like it'll rip your heart out and throw it on the floor. And I don't feel, it's funny mentioning this and like having, if this and Waves were against each other, that would be really like wild. Because they're emotionally raw and upsetting movies. in different ways. I kind of wish that Beautiful Boy was in a more. I wish those performances were in kind of a stronger film, if that makes a little bit more sense with Beautiful Boy. I feel a little. I feel the screenplay a little route. I feel I'm not as inspired by the direction, but the performances are what stand out. I think Beautiful Boy is one of those cases where not because the filmmaking jumps off of the page or it's a amazingly made movie, but because the performances make it. And I think that's the case with Beautiful Boy, which is a good enough reason to recommend it. And it's going to have it beat The Muppets for me. Because I guess I think I'm in the minority with this one. I usually am I think sometimes with this kind of stuff. The original Muppet movies, fucking love them. Like the Muppet movie is an all-time example of I don't even know what, but of a Muppet movie. It's an all-time example of a Muppet movie. And the originals are wonderful in their own right. Christmas Carol, all of those original stretch Muppet movies are wonderful. And then with and I love me some Jason Segel, but I feel like the trying to create, I feel the Muppets really missed the mark. I feel like it was so busy trying to get ahead of the post ironic commentary and dismissal of the Muppets by being meta aware of the conversation and trying to get ahead of it and be clever enough to eclipse it and make a movie about, but we love the Muppets, so here's about how the Muppets are relevant by us. I felt it was a little, I think it got a little too twisted in its own, I think, subversion of trying to say how the Muppets have come into the 21st century. And it's also not about the Muppets enough. Holy shit. It's about Jason Segel and Amy Adams. Like the whole, it's just not about the Muppets enough. I think the Muppets are sideline characters in their own movie, which is weird for it, but it's too much about Segel and Adams and oh my gosh. Oh my God.
Amy Adams.
Bazinga. No. Oh my God. Jim
Parsons. Yeah.
Jim Parsons. Yes. Jim Parsons, who's cute, but he's also not an OG Muppet. So it's just the new characters. I think it spends way too much time with them and not actually bringing back the Muppets. And I don't think at the end of the movie, it creates an effective reason for why the Muppets should still be here, because it's not their story. That's how I feel when I watch the Muppets reboot movie. So that was my little assessment of it. And I'm still going to vote for Beautiful Boy. Sorry. But Chris Cooper, though. Chris Cooper. And his maniacal laugh is wonderful. Chris Cooper is a great villain. And there are definitely some things I like about the Muppets. And of course, I think Amy Adams and Jason Segel are wonderful. And I love their singing voices. And they're delightful. But there's too much of them in the Muppets movie.
Mara?
I'm voting for the Felted Friends.
Adam?
Beautiful Boy is another blind spot this week. It's one of the 4 I didn't get to. Apologies to Sir Chalamet. I wish him all the best in his career and his exploits. But the Muppets, I've grown up with them, and I do agree that this modern Muppets era may not hold up under scrutiny compared to the original run. It's a tough thing to do. But what I really love about this movie and Muppets Most Wanted, and even their little show that got canceled, the one that was in the vein of The Office. I enjoy all of that because I think ultimately all of this is made with love for the Muppets. I feel that come through. I feel the personality of the Muppets coming back, which is really, really enjoyable. And for me, Jason Segel and Amy Adams, that it doesn't detract from the movie for me personally, because I recently rewatched Enchanted with my daughter. She really wanted to watch that movie with me, and I was happy to do it. And I like that movie. Okay. It's not bad, but I think the Muppets is better at what that movie sets out to do. I enjoy, a lot of the playful humor in it and the way it interacts with history. And I also find Jason and Amy very charismatic in the film for whatever they're doing. I love Walter, the little Muppet brother. That's his name, right? Walter.
Yeah.
I really that's what we haven't talked about that yet. He's the true protagonist of the film. And I understand like Jason Segel and Amy Adams will upstage him a bit, but Walter is the heart of that movie for me. I really, really like him. I like that he's a new Muppet who's kind of nondescript and looks up to the Muppets, just like all of us. And yeah, that's all very obvious, but it works for me because I love the goddamn Muppets. So I vote for the Muppets. And Beautiful Boy, it's going to happen. Again, I've marked it. I have it on a list on my phone. It's on Prime. I don't have to pay the rental, but you don't get credit for that, Jacob. And I am going to watch it, but I vote for the Muppets because I love the Muppets.
Tell.
Can't believe you're doing this to me after what you just did to me.
You fool.
For fuck's sake. This is stupid. I don't like this Muppets movie. And Beautiful Boy is we're on a roll this week of movies that are like emotionally wrecked me so bad I never want to watch them again. Like, that just seems to be the theme. We watched this movie in Flagstaff in an empty theater, and I just like sobbed through for like however fucking long this movie is. I was just a disaster, which even when movies destroy me, I usually don't sit there and just like weep openly, but this movie fucked me up, dude. This one was bad. And not even because it's a great movie. As has been mentioned, it's more the performances, like what Timothy Chalamet and Steve Carell were doing individually, but also in scenes together as scene partners was so moving. And they were just meeting each other at the level that they were both at in such a brilliant way and handling such sensitive, horrific subject matter with so much like raw emotion and so much care. And it was really that more than the actual story or any of the filmmaking or anything that just really got to me. And I know I've said this a couple times now. I've never watching this. I don't, for my own mental health, I don't know if I can watch this movie ever again. But I can't put this Muppets movie through. So like that's where we're at.
I didn't know somebody didn't like the Muppets like me. How?
The Muppets,
like the Muppets. You don't like the Muppets.
In modern times, the Muppets have been so bastardized, and it makes me so sad. Like, anyway,
all right. Beautiful Boy makes it through.
All right.
All right, Marisol. This is another. I apologize. Argo versus Saint Maud.
Oh,
I'm fascinated by what you think about this one, actually.
I'm good. No. Mama's good. The worst is over. Like, I don't think anything since like bracket one will like when you had all my favorites in one bracket. Thanks, Jacob. I don't think anything
or when you put all 7 John Wicks in the wild card. Like, what was that about?
I don't think anything's like made my heart rate faster than that first bracket and the Moonlight. Seen Moonlight against Knives Out, but this one I can handle this one. This is cool. Mama's cool with this one. Argo, wonderful, fun, unexpectedly breezy for its subject matter film, which I don't think any of us were expecting from Ben Affleck too. Because his first 2 movies were like heavy, like really heavy. And I wasn't. And Argo is upsetting subject matter, but almost like a bright edge, almost like a bounce to it. Like it goes down a little more smoothly than you ever would have thought. It's an enjoyable hostage flick. I don't know if that's a thing. That's a new subgenre. But I always think Argo's solid, but it never had quite that twinkle to just push it all the way over the edge to me. Even though everybody's professional, everybody's bringing strong game to the table. there is some slight spark just keeping Argo from like ultimate greatness for me. Even though I'm happy with it, I think it's a testament to how much of a up in the air year 2012 was, that Argo just like won Best Picture, you know, and even though it was good, I think it was really a toss up that year at the Academy. Saint Maud, that's my bitch right there. Saint Maud. This movie exploded out the gate for me. I caught it like at home. I didn't see it in theaters. I caught up with it later, and I just vibed with it so hard. And I think I was putting Rose Glass up there with Ari Aster and with Robert Eggers as coming out, like as A24 putting this horror voice out there who just fucking nails it on their first movie. And I love how Saint Maud is not so much horror as it is just a really suspenseful and creepy character drama, like a character study. I love that about it. I love that it is obsessed. It's hyper obsessed with its hyper obsessed protagonist, and what a star making performance from Morfydd Clark, and her and Jennifer Ehle in the movie as well. Like this, it's really just two actors in a movie in cat and mouse going kind of back to back. Saint Maud would make like Hitchcock proud. I feel like it's that kind of twisty, nasty, psychological suspense drama that just more. The only thing that is bad about it is it's just way too short. Just when the movie is really starting to take off, it just suddenly ends. But what an ending! Absolutely, Saint Maud. This is one of my favorite films of the decade.
Adam.
Argo's cool. Argo's. I was just talking about ensembles. I'm a big sucker for ensembles, and Argo's a solid example of that. I think it tells an effective story. And you know, it's not an offensive Best Picture winner by any stretch of the imagination. I'm not mad at Argo, never have been. But again, it comes down to, you know, different strokes, the way the story resonates with you. And Argo is more interesting to me than impactful. Even though I can appreciate all the resonance it has for that period of history. Also, I think one thing that undermined it for me personally is just I understand the playful nature of it. I don't think it needs to be solemn by any stretch, but it's playful to the point where I started to not feel the stakes. And I feel the stakes of that situation more when I read about it in a history book than when I watch that movie. And it doesn't mean the movie's bad. I think the movie's quite good. But the movie felt so light compared to all the historical and sociopolitical things that were happening. And again, that's not a failure. It's just my personal taste. But I think it's a good movie. Saint Maud, I agree with you. I think Rose Glass came out swinging, and I don't think Saint Maud is an unimpeachable film. I think it's going to turn off a lot of viewers, and it has definitely. But gosh, I think Rose Glass. I still need to see Love Lies Bleeding. Really excited to see that, but the reason I'm excited to see that is because of Saint Maud. And I think Morfydd Clark is a really exciting actor. I do like her in Rings of Power. I guess that's, my cross to bear. I like her in all things so far. She's got this movie coming out with Matt Smith, apparently, that's supposed to be really good. So keep an eye out for that. I just heard about this. Some horror movie where they play a couple on a farm that sucks. I can't wait to see it.
Lamb 2.
Yeah. It always starts off on a farm that is lame.
Starve Acre.
What?
Starve Acre.
Starve Acre, that's right. Yeah. So it came out at festivals last year, but we're not going to see it until the end of this year. You know how it goes. Saint Maud is awesome. More people should see it. I vote for Saint Maud. But Argo's cool. And Argo's got great actors in it. So I'm not mad.
Sorry, I haven't seen Saint Maud, so it's gonna have to be Argo. I enjoy Argo very much, but I don't have anything to contribute just because I haven't gotten around to seeing Saint Maud.
Mara?
This one is actually a little tough for me, but everything wonderful that everyone said about Saint Maud, I agree with. But for me, culturally, the movie Argo, even though it does dramatize a little bit in some places where I didn't really think dramatization was needed, that period of history for that part of the world is actually super important, really pivotal. And it's a huge turning point for an entire country full of people. And yes, of course, it's focusing on what happened to the Americans that were there. But even so, just really connected to me personally. So I have no choice. Like I actually really enjoy the movie, even just as a film. I'm looking forward to showing it to somebody that I know that hasn't seen it before, hopefully very soon. And I really like Saint Maud a lot. And if it were up against anything else, it would almost certainly take it for me. But I can't vote against Argo.
So I've been your best friend, Marisol, for the last like 3 rounds, and yeah, that ends right now. Sorry. I'm one of the people who very much loves Argo. I love Argo. I think it is a fantastic film. And yeah, so sorry. I've been your friend for the last like 3 rounds. This one, I'm back to fuck you, Jacob.
I was gonna say, well, let me be the first to welcome you back to Fuck You, Jacob Club. Yes.
Enjoy the couch, Jacob.
So with that, Argo goes through to the next round.
Oh, sorry, Maud. Oh,
We get hopefully if like a few more people watch Saint Maud now.
it's okay.
Yeah. The Edge of 17 versus Frank. I'm gonna start here just because I'm tired of being the deciding vote. I keep trying to avoid it. Now I'm realizing, nope, just go first. So I really love Edge of 17. I think what it does, and with telling a high school story. There's 3 high school stories in this bracket because I think they're the 3 best high school stories from the decade, and Perks is probably the one that hits me a little close to home, but I think this is the best one of the 3. I think Haley Steinfeld in this is phenomenal. Like she is really quirky, really funny. It deals with a way of being this awkward, weird teenager in such a unique and like real feeling that's not, but it also it doesn't decide to go into, oh, we're going into the ultra serious mode. It keeps it fun and light, whereas in the other 2 in Perks and Me and the Dying Girl have very, very serious subjects, whereas in this one I think it's just like we're a teen drama that has serious subjects, but we never go the ultra serious the way that the other 2 tend to at points. So I'm going with Edge of 17. Mara.
I'm gonna elect to not vote for the Edge of 17. It didn't quite work for me. I am sure that it will take it though, so I'm just gonna reserve any love that I have or for the other film and just say that I do love it, and that's totally fine. That no one else probably will.
Adam.
Oh, okay, Mara. You need to give us a little bit of credit here, okay?
I love my favorite thing is that when people usually say that, like whenever one of us says that and we go, or like we're like nobody's gonna love this. I need to keep track of how many times.
Yeah, but I said that
it's
about
actually right. Or
to be fair,
wrong.
I said that about MacGruber,
Yeah,
and okay.
thanks. Yeah, thanks. Thanks a lot.
So far, the one that has kind of done that is Taylor with Greatest Showman. If like everyone, like
Okay,
you tried
that's
to
fair.
say
Yeah,
it with
that's
the
fair.
artist, and all of us just went, we all love the artist.
Yeah, because I have my research to back me up when I say it. I'm like,
Yeah.
I know.
I know. I had no idea. I was pleasantly surprised.
Now, Edge of 17 is unfortunately another blind spot. Did my best, and will eventually get around to it because I've heard good things about the performances. Not going to hold this against the movie, but not thrilled about the title, given that there's another movie that it's not a remake of, and then there's the song. I just that title, Fleetwood Mac, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, it doesn't matter. The title doesn't really matter. But
it is a little weird because it was like a pivotal.
It's a really
there's a gay coming of age Edge of 17.
Yes,
from
it's
the
a completely
90s.
different movie, and then there's the song, and
They love it. They want to pay homage to it.
hey,
Yeah,
look,
yeah,
it's a catchy phrase.
No, but I know what you mean.
And
It's very specific.
It's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. I just want to say this has nothing to do with the movie I haven't seen, but yeah, Haley Steinfeld continues to impress me in ways I don't always anticipate. Like, I'm not going to seek out everything she does, but like I'll see her in something and I'll be surprised like every time because she's doing something new. She's talented. So I will see the movie. And Woody, yeah, I mean, let's go. Like there's a whole like group of actors from this decade. Like Woody, Paul Rudd, Thomas Hayden Church, John Bernthal. They're all the guidance counselors, right? From all these movies, basically, or the principals.
Or the hip teachers.
Yes, yeah.
Slash the hip teachers.
So I'm here for the cast alone. But oh my god, I caught up with Frank for this week, finally, and I loved it. I loved it. It was so good. And it was I love absurd humor from the outset. Like I was on its wavelength pretty fast, but Donald Gleason was so busy in the 2010s, like working his ass off, but he was doing good work for the most part. And I know I'm not a fan of About Time, but he didn't suck in that movie. He was still Donald Gleason, but oh my god, is he funny in this? He's the straight man for a while until he isn't. So that's fun. And he does such a good job of like evolving from like the normal guy into the weirdo. Fassbender like does so much behind a mask, just with his physicality and his voice. And I love that. Maggie Gyllenhaal destroyed me in this. Just her commitment to fury. She was so purely angry, and I loved it. Her haircut was angry in this movie. It was perfect. I found it to be sweet and nihilistic at the same time. I think Frank is a character that represents, that idealized guru that, is popular in a social group that we often criticize, but Frank also earns it because there's an innocence to him. And I really think this movie's terrific, and I think it's wholly original, and that's so hard to find, and especially when it comes to a director like Lenny Abramson, and we'll get to this soon enough, I'm sure, but like, his other big movie from this decade is a very different experience, and I think it shows how talented he is, and it shows his range with in a very short span of time. So I unequivocally vote for Frank, and I think I would have, even if I'd seen Edge of 17, no offense, because Frank is totally on my wavelength, and I really, really dug it.
Tell.
So I'm gonna vote for Edge of 17. I really, really love that movie. Like you were saying, it's one of the high school movies we've got in the group, and I really love this one specifically. I think Haley Steinfeld is amazing in it. I think her chemistry with Woody Harrelson as the kind of reluctant mentor figure, I think is great. And I'm just like, I love getting to see her in roles like this. Because as great as it is, she's getting the Marvel money. Like, I need her to not do that outside of Spider-Verse, because I think she's one of the few working typical actresses that also is very good at voice work without it just being a name that they're stapling on the poster to kind of put someone in there, which they do a lot more now. So I love the fact that she is getting to do her voice acting work because she's actually great at it. And I'm very excited that she's in the new untitled Ryan Coogler vampire Michael B. Jordan movie that we don't really know too much about, but I'm really excited she's finally foraying back into a kind of role like that with a director who is so brilliant, and it's going to be something different that we haven't seen from her. And anyway, I'm so excited about that. But I'm going to vote for The Edge of 17 just because I do think she's great in it. I think it's a great quintessential kind of high school movie amongst all of the kind of ones that get thrown out there. I think this one is really great.
I also realized there's actually 4. There's one next week that's the 4th one that I totally forgot about. That also has fairly heavy themes.
Jacob, you're a high school movie with heavy themes.
That's fair.
True.
Marisol,
this is all on you now.
I'm the tiebreaker. Oh shit.
Man.
Oh God, I think this is the first time for me this week.
Suck it, Trebek.
there actually hasn't. No, that's a lie. There has been a few tiebreakers actually.
Yeah, we've had a few.
Yeah, we have.
You've been most of them, but
I guess I'll kill the suspense here with this one pretty fast. I'm definitely voting for Frank. I'm sorry. I'm definitely voting for. I don't know who I'm saying. Sorry, too. I don't know what I'm saying. I'm just saying I'm voting for Frank. I do absolutely love this movie. I like Edge of 17. This is just a matter of just like one. I just think is an even stronger movie.
I didn't know she'd seen it. You've seen that.
Edge of 17, yeah.
We didn't get around to talking.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No. I do like Age of 17.
The more you know.
And as everybody's already said, Haley Steinfeld, not that she ever needed to prove, like, hello, she was the breakout. She was the best, like the standout performance in a Coen Brothers movie in her debut film, like with literal Oscar winners. Like, we know Haley Steinfeld could bring it. And there's no question that she's a leading lady and a versatile actress and a talented actress. And she absolutely is in Edge of 17. My thing that hold me back just a little bit with it is just the smugness of her character. She never fully earned my sympathy in that whole movie because there was this air of arrogance, and not the arrogance and just like, oh, you just haven't experienced life yet. I felt like a very smug arrogance, like undercurrent in her character in that movie that kind of interfered with me. Though I adore Haley Lou Richardson. That was I think one of the first times we ever saw her. That gave us her, and I really enjoy all the performances in it. It's just I didn't feel I wasn't fully on board with the redeeming quality. I didn't find as many redeeming qualities in her arrogance in that movie. I'm not sure as much as she learned as much as I was hoping that she would have, but that doesn't matter because I am definitely voting for Frank. You hit a lot of it. And it just helps. I mean, Michael Fassbender is my favorite actor, and this might be my favorite performance of his, which is wild to say because the guy always just brings his A game. But I think this might be my favorite performance, which is really bizarre to say, but it's such an oddball hodgepodge of immense sadness, immense social awkwardness of trying to find the right place when you feel like you're making your way into a clique and you feel like you're the odd man, but how do those dynamics switch based on the intentions of who's entering what, how that perspective shifts based on...
The movie nailed imposter syndrome for me. That's one thing
I
wanted to say too.
I think you said it.
That, yeah.
Lenny Abrahamson really showed his range with this and his other movie from the decade. I think Frank is an incredibly special movie that also succeeds and nails and ends on this incredibly triumphant, bittersweet note. And I was on board for the ride. I like Edge of 17, but I love Frank, so I'm gonna vote for it.
All right.
Whoa. That's the least surprising, I think, result tonight. I'm not gonna lie.
Frank McGruber next time. Here we go.
Oh,
Look,
McGruber changed the game. I don't take anything for granted anymore. I know nothing. I know nothing now. Post McGruber. There's pre and post.
Adam.
Yeah.
Next up, Lion versus It Follows.
Okay.
Taylor, do you want to
Yeah,
start?
I'll kick it off. So Lion, Dev Patel, king of my heart, that can do no wrong ever under any circumstances. Will go see anything that he's in ever. Also, this movie is like the perfect thing because it's Dev Patel being amazing and brilliant like he always is, and being super hot and having an Australian accent that's like built for me specifically. That's like the whole thing. It's got everything.
The irony being it was released 2 years before she moved there.
Yeah, it was. But I love his relationship with Nicole Kidman, his adopted mother in the film. I think it's a really sweet story. I think it's a really cool story, really unique, very emotional. It surprised me that year. It was one of the few that like kind of snuck up on me that I wasn't expecting, and then I watched it and really loved it. And I actually think about it quite often. It's one that has stuck with me, and I think it's one of my favorite Dev Patel movies, at least like semi recently. But yeah, I think I'm gonna give my love to Lion here, and hope for the best because I have no idea what's about to happen.
Mara, you're you're contractually obligated right now for Lion, so just due to your current location.
I'm
kidding.
This one is also this is a very tough choice for me. Again, as a huge fan of horror movies, I really, really love It Follows. I love the aesthetic, the weird clam phone thing, seashell, whatever.
The Kindle, like, yeah.
Yeah, I just love everything, like the little small details. Of course, I love the messaging of it. And I'm really curious to see where they're going to go with this moving forward. But even so, which I'm sure Adam's going to speak to it more, and I will allow it. I love Lion. I love this movie so much. Pardon me. Oh, by the way, I'd like to introduce the next voting member of the bracket show, my vanilla protein banana chai smoothie. And
that's what Frank drinks all throughout Frank.
Yum.
Yep. But no, there are so many times. I mean, of course, this is based on a real story, but so many times you see a story about a person of color being adopted by a white or white presenting family, and it's usually kind of more of a grim story or a story about that there's like antagonism or resentment or like the posturing of adopting this child and taking them away from the terrible circumstances from which they were born, and the relationship, as Taylor mentioned, that he has with Nicole Kidman, and just the sincerity of her support of his journey, and also just the meaningfulness of like going back to a place and trying to get to know your own home. I mean, because you can have more than one home in the world, like a cultural home and a home in which you were raised. It's just such a great story. I think that he's a really great actor. I don't necessarily think every movie he's been in has been fantastic, but I think he's been fantastic in them. And this may be my favorite overall. And also just like identifying with the concept of adoption and stuff like that as well. But man, this movie, I wish it had reached more people, because I don't know if I've ever heard anyone outside of just like the film community in which we reside with people that see every movie. I've never heard just a regular person talk about this movie ever. So if anybody in the chat hasn't seen Lion, I don't know if it's streaming anywhere, I'll check on Just Watch after this, but please see Lion. Tubi, everybody, there you go. But yeah, I love Lion. Try to give it a watch. It's really, really great.
Adam.
Yeah, we watched it on Tubi. We outed ourselves. Look, Tubi is pretty dope. I'm not going to deny it. Like that streaming service comes in clutch all the time, and the ads on it are annoying, but way less than even like Hulu. I got to be honest, and it's completely free. I am not working for Tubi, but I did watch Lion. And
no, but it is wild. You can watch like the latest Steven Seagal movie on there, and then also watch like Dr. Zhivago on there.
Yes,
like it's wild.
You can watch Dr. Zhivago and Belly of the Beast in the same day. That is a movie. Lion is great, and I caught up with it for the show. So glad I did. This is one of those movies that my mom saw when it came out. She's been telling me for years, hey, son who's really into movies, here's this movie I've seen that you haven't, and I think it's great. I'm like, yeah, Mom, I know. And I saw it, and I can't wait to talk to her about it because I agree with her. Look, full disclosure, like I come from a family of mixed siblings, many of whom are adopted, and it really resonated with me for that reason. I thought it dealt with that subject matter in a really like meaningful way. You know, every family's different. But what I love about this movie is that his adoptive parents are portrayed very honestly, and they have their reasons for wanting to adopt, and they're honest about it throughout the movie. But when it comes time for him to explore his heritage, the way it brings that family closer together is so meaningful. And I think I also didn't expect how it was basically like I expected a prologue and to get like basically two movies in one is like that really took me by surprise. I got to be honest. I found both halves of the film, like you're used to a 3-act structure. This felt like 2 halves in a good way. And the young actor who plays Saru we haven't talked about him yet, and I don't know the actor's name offhand, but oh my God, that young kid, like
Sonny Para, P-A-R-W-A-R.
Yeah. Devastating in that, like with his performance. He's so good in his little voice and the physicality of him, like moving around, like he's so, oh God, look, I am a dad. Obviously, you guys know these things about me. So like this movie really resonated with me on so many levels for all the reasons I've already stated. And I thought it was lovely and genuine. And I'm going to recommend it to people repeatedly. It follows when it came out. I remember all the exciting buzz around it. And I have to admit, when I first saw It Follows, I really, really liked it, but the movie grew on me the more I revisited it, because the first time I saw it, I thought of The Ring, you know, but since then, the truth of the matter is The Ring, much like Groundhog Day, invented a subgenre, really, like this viral idea of horror, which has been, you know, proliferated on so many levels in the genre, like, you know, with found footage and creepypasta and all this stuff. And the thing I love about It Follows is it does all that without over explaining the mythology, which I hope with whatever they do in this sequel, which is intriguing, they don't over explain. I don't need to get too literal. But I love how intuitive it all feels. Thematically, I never lose the thread because it feels like it makes sense within the world they set up, everything that's happening. A movie, and I know I do this a lot, I talk about other movies, I'm sorry, but I just have to say this. There's a movie from the 80s with Barbara Hershey in it called The Entity. Of all people, it's directed by Sidney Furie, who did Superman 4. And it's actually,
Classic.
Yes. But The Entity is like terrifying. it's a movie about a woman who gets plagued and essentially assaulted by a ghost, and it preys on the fears of what would it be like if a ghost attacked you and manipulated you. It's honestly a really scary movie, and it follows really harkens back to that for me. The way it personalizes the terror for everyone who's affected by it, and the way it doesn't explain the way that's personalized for people. We see everyone from, like doppelgangers, which is very common, to physical representations of people that we have no point of reference for, and that's even more terrifying. And they show up in places you don't expect. The things that defy logic in the movie are what's scary, but what's even scarier is that there's an underlying sense of thematic logic to it. And I think it really plays well upon rewatches. I've seen it the better part of 10 times now. I think the score is utterly incredible. I love the score. And it was one of those synth scores that hit before it got trendy after Stranger Things. So I give it a lot of credit there. But Lion is so lovely, and I can't recommend it enough. But I have to vote for It Follows by a slight edge. I've had a lot of time to live with this movie. I think it's special, and I think Lion is too. So fuck you, Jacob.
Look, Marisol, I'm not gonna give you the opportunity to force it back to me for a tiebreaker. I'm not gonna keep the what is
This
it?
has been
I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it.
Yeah. I like It Follows. It Follows is a really great horror movie, and is a great way of doing thematically through of thematically showing about sexually transmitted diseases and that sort of that concept and that idea of the way that they're going through a horror film. And I think that that's a really interesting and unique approach that we don't ever really see. That said, I am going with Lion because it is such a beautiful film, and we don't get these type of movies. We really don't, and more people need to see Lion. And so I'm everything you guys have all said about Lion is why I'm voting for Lion. So yeah, Marisol.
Yeah.
Sorry, Adam. No, what we
No. I have nothing. No, ignore me. That was involuntary.
It Follows. I really, really want to rewatch this movie. I only saw it once.
Oh, it's right over there, baby.
I know. The coolest thing about It Follows is I have no idea what decade it takes place in, which I think is cool about it. It looks like it could take place in 2014 or it could take place in 1986, simultaneously, which is so cool. The technology's so dated, but everybody's clothes are kind of modern. But I love that about it, that purposely confusing chronology there. And I remember really enjoying just the vibes of it, just the creepiness, the loominess of this.
We're rewatching that tonight.
The hell we are. I'm trying to go to bed. Let's go to bed tonight. I'm trying not to shit
I want to watch that
when
right
I
now.
sleep. No, I would be awake all night if we watched that shit. But yeah, and I remember shitting my pants when fucking Slender Man steps out from behind that girl in the hallway. Oh, that is exactly how you. That's exactly how you make me turn into a cat on the ceiling during a horror movie. But I'm just really eager to rewatch It Follows. Lion. I am adopted, so Lion destroyed me. It ripped my little heart out and just spun it like a little plate and then hibachi'd it and then fed it back to me and then poured salt down my mouth. It destroyed me. It fucking destroyed me. I painfully cried through this whole fucking movie. Painfully.
We both ugly cried.
Painfully.
Yes,
painfully. I was like, I need Tylenol.
There was
rewinding. I have a splitting headache. I have a splitting headache.
oh, fuck this. But I love it. I painfully cried all throughout Lion. I felt it so much. I completely Slumdog Millionaire could never. I was not ready for how much this little boy goes through in the first half of this
Even
movie.
with the ads for Tide.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. I was not ready. It destroyed me. I've heard some detractors say it's just an ad for Google Earth. I was like, dude, well, it's a good one then. Hello, that's the greatest. Find your parents, find your long lost tribe. That's the best fucking ad for Google Earth I've ever seen.
Find your village.
Hello, and it's not really when you watch it. It's not this movie is brought to you by Google Earth. It's not that kind of it doesn't overstate it. I agree with what everybody's saying.
Not bad at Google Earth.
I do really, really, really want to rewatch It Follows because I think I will dig it even more. But Lion, yeah, it's already going through. Lion, yeah.
All right, I'm gonna swap my vote to It Follows then because 3-2. I like that looks better because I was like, no, Lion's going through. But I didn't know.
You're a coward. Actually,
that's why you should have just let me go because then you would have felt you would have felt better.
It also means we're watching It Follows tonight.
Yeah, okay. So it's funny. So there was movies Taylor had to watch this week, and we got to It Follows, and you just went straight up, nope. And I just instantly went, yeah, nope.
Yeah, because you know what will happen if you have to deal with me if I've watched that movie. It'll be bad for you specifically.
Taylor, I would love to hear your thoughts on that movie.
If we raise enough money,
yeah,
I'll do a watch along to it or something. I'll make it an incentive. But if I'm not getting paid to do it, I'm definitely not watching that movie.
All right.
It would stress you out at the very least.
Yeah. Oh yeah. All right. Got 2 left.
2 more. Here we go.
Well, we already talked about one of his movies, so let's do the other one. Life of Pi versus Room. Okay, I'm gonna just very quickly start and end this. This is not close at all. I like Life of Pi. I think Life of Pi is fine. I will never understand it winning Best Director outside of the Academy knew they fucked up and they fucked up by not nominating Ben Affleck and went, shit, we got to give it to someone.
How does that fix that?
What?
I just
thanks.
Life of Pi, I think is fine. Room is Room is incredible. Room is such a heartbreaking and beautiful and devastating movie about a mother and the lengths you will go for your child, but then also kind of like we were talking about with with Waves, where it's oh no, we're going to show the consequences of it. It doesn't end where you think it normally would. It goes for another 45 minutes, and I really love that about Room. So Brie Larson, phenomenal in this, absolutely incredible. But Jacob Tremblay as well. Jacob Tremblay is fantastic in this. So I'm going Room easy. This isn't close. Taylor.
Ditto. Room. Done. Finished.
Fair.
Yeah, that's one of the best. That's one of the most deserving, I think, Best Actress awards that I've ever seen. She is. You can think whatever you want to think about her other performances in her other work, but singularly, that performance. And I'm actually still kind of upset that the Academy looked at Jacob and went, no, we don't care about child actors anymore. We don't do that anymore. Anyway.
Marisol?
Who knows what's about to happen? I hate to see, I think Life of Pi is a better movie that doesn't deserve a 5-0, but by God, this is Room. This is absolutely Room. Life of Pi deserves better than 5. I won't. That's presumptuous, but we'll see what happens. But
Gruber,
look, exactly. Again, nothing is safe anymore. I don't. We're living in a post MacGruber world here, and nothing is safe anymore. Okay,
you better just have him on lock.
That shook me, y'all. That shook me.
You asked me why I'm rooting for Lion. I went, nope, I ain't risking it.
Yes. But yeah, no, Life of Pi. I've always like the visuals on it. I've always like, I know people I love the visuals, but they still also feel it's funny when people talk about like the screensaver visuals and like Lovely Bones. I feel like I'm not looking at reality when I'm looking at Life of Pi. Like, but that's cool about it. I feel like I'm looking at a dream when I'm looking at Life of Pi. Like the visual effects are just so colorful and extraordinary, and I feel like hyper sensory. Like I don't feel like they're a reflection of reality. But the tiger is dope. That tiger alone like earns him the special effects Oscar.
Yeah.
Him and Richard Parker, that whole movie just is makes that movie. I would love to rewatch Life of Pi. It's a good movie. It's a good movie. Room is perfect. We're gonna talk more about Room. I hope Life of Pi doesn't go 5-0. I'm just gonna say or 0-5. But Room, we'll talk about it. No pressure.
I was no surprise, very late to the party on Room. I only saw it last year. I did not. The only thing I knew about it was that there was a very tense series of events involving a rug, and I assumed incorrectly that was the climax of the movie. I was shocked that the movie kept going, and I love that so very much. I think that the portrayal of PTSD in that movie is such an authentic portrayal. I think that a lot of times PTSD is dramatized in movies for the sake of getting an Oscar rather than trying to be as raw and real, and like trauma and trauma response is not necessarily. I feel like movies write it kind of easy, and I like that they wrote her to be the way that she was, because there were times where she was okay, there were times where she wasn't, there were times where she was coping, there were times where she wasn't, there were times where she was performatively coping, and times where she wasn't. You can be okay one minute and not okay the next. And I think that most movies just show a downward spiral of trauma, and then you have a moment of clarity or someone saves you, and they don't really show how much of a like sine wave that trauma response can be. And I knew that there was so much praise for her performance, and I'm so glad that none of it felt like it was overhyped whatsoever. I think people could tell me just about anything about her performance before I saw the movie, and nothing anyone could have said would have been incorrect and could have been overhyped, because everything that everyone said was true, and everything else that everyone already said about the movie is true. And I also like Life of Pi. I haven't seen it in a long time, but I've seen it more than 2 or 3 times, but it's no Room.
Adam.
Disclaimer. I have not fully finished Life of Pi. It was the last movie I started for this week, so I'm in there, and we'll see where it goes. But I think Room is easily one of the stronger films of the decade, American movies. I don't say that lightly either, because I think what makes it unique is that it deals with subject matter that we've seen sensationalized time and time again, and it completely humanizes all of it. It brings it down to a level that's really relatable, suffocating for the first part of the film to an extent, but in a way that really, endears you to both of those characters, the mother and son. And this is neither here nor there, but to have gone through the emotional arc of Room, and then to see Dr. Sleep, was a very, very cruel experience. I'm just going to say that on a meta level.
Right.
But Room, my God, like I think it's directed so sharply, and the way it's filmed, the way it's framed. Oh my God, like the titular room, if you will. I mean, the space is set up so well, and then your sense of disorientation when you step outside of it for the first time, from both of their perspectives is so effective. Also, shout out to Joan Allen and William H. Macy. Really solid third act dramatic parents. I think they really like lended a lot of texture to Brie Larson's character in that part of the film. And yeah, oh my God, Jacob, I would have punched you repeatedly in the face through this computer if you had done Frank versus Room. Oh my God.
No, that's next
week. I was
That's
nervous.
next week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But when I saw they were in the same bracket, I was like, he'll blame it on Uncle Rando.
It happened. I will say it happens once in the bracket. That there is a director versus director, like where it's two of their same movies, and I laughed so hard when I saw it.
Is that fun for you? You like that? Okay. Well, I'll tell you what. When it comes to Lenny, he's got a limited body of work. So if you'd done that, I would have slapped you silly. So
no, but they're in the like these two. They potentially could be facing each other at some point.
Yeah, great. But Room is excellent. And I'm excited to finish Life of Pi. I will say this about Life of Pi visually. What I dig about the visuals is the way they're playfully edited together. I like a lot of the dissolves and digital trickery he does between the flashbacks and whatnot. And I saw it in the comments. Shout out to Irfan Khan, who is a really talented dude who I'm honestly, whenever I discover a movie I haven't seen him in yet, I get really excited because he's such an impactful actor. And looking forward to seeing more of his work. But yeah, Room. All right.
Final one for actually what's been a fairly tough show. We've done it pretty well. Fury versus The Wolf of Wall Street. Mara. Oh, sorry. I just realized you started eating.
It's just gum.
Okay.
This one's okay. So I had 10 movies I had to watch this week. I got through 9 of them.
Damn.
Damn, Mara.
Fury was the last one.
No.
Wow.
So
Fury was 10. Yeah.
I'm gonna vote for The Wolf of Wall Street because I've seen it. I do have grievances with it, but I'm gonna vote for it because I've seen it. The end.
Adam.
I think Wolf of Wall Street has a lot in it that's entertaining. And I think it has very good odds this week. It's a very popular movie. I want to focus on a few things about it and as briefly as I can. I do think it's entertaining. I think Leo gives a very interesting performance. I think Kyle Chandler is kind of underrated in it. I really was rooting for him this whole movie, like a lot. And I really like the way that like Jordan is so cocky the entire time. And I love Kyle Chandler's character. Like we've seen, the FBI, the CIA character constantly like be, like just overly confident, but there's a subtlety to Chandler in this that I really appreciate. And then there's some comedic scenes in it that are just flat out hilarious. I think we know of most of them. There are some pretty famous ones. Just really funny shit. Fury is a movie that like I really dismissed when it came out. I was like, nope, don't give a shit. I at the time, I'm being completely honest, I did not care. And I honestly, what it came from was like, World War II it is so like strip mined as like a period in history in film and television that like at this point you really got to have an interesting angle for me. Like it doesn't have to be super specific, but it has to at least be honest. And I find so many films that engage with that period of history to be disingenuous in this particular era of film and television. And I say that like in the past 15 to 20 years. And so when I finally saw Fury, I was surprised by, it's violent, it's rough, it's not a terribly nuanced story, but I was really taken aback by, again, for me, the theme tonight is ensemble cast. I love the ensemble in this movie. Brad Pitt gives a really good performance that I think has subtleties to it that he doesn't get enough credit for. I think this makes a really interesting counterpoint to Inglourious Bastards. Like he has a very similar haircut, but not the same facial hair. But he's a much more serious character by comparison. But he's also the leader of a group. And I found that so fascinating about it. And there's moments of quiet and fury that I didn't expect as well. There's some extended scenes, one of which is at a dinner table where you get a real chance to explore the relationship between America, which is an invading force, and the people in Germany who are still interested in keeping the peace, namely women and children and civilians who don't want any part of this. They don't like the Nazis. They're just trying to not get blown up. And there are some touching scenes of humanity and fury that I really didn't think were going to happen. From like, I don't mean to like be judgmental of David Ayer, but like I did judge him ahead of this movie. And then I saw it. I was like, whoa, okay. All right, David. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you surprised me. This is all getting to the point. I'm voting for Fury. At the very least, I want to raise its profile a little bit for anyone who hasn't seen it. I think it's underrated. It's talked about a lot because there are some really sensational, like violent scenes in it, which is, par for the course in R-rated war movies, but they don't feel cheap. And there's a lot of emotional impact in this. Like you compare this to something like Hacksaw Ridge, which the fact that hack is in the title is just so telling. Like I meant to say that last week, but like Fury is a better movie. I just find it more genuine on every level, which is surprising. So I vote for Fury, but Wolf of Wall Street, I get it if it wins, I love Marty as much as the next guy, but I honestly think of all of his movies in the past decade, this is on the bottom half for me.
Oh wow! I agree with a lot of what you said about Fury. There is a lot to really like about Fury. I think Fury is a genuinely good movie. There's a reason why I put it on this list. Like I do actually really enjoy Fury as a film. But man, I just love Wolf of Wall Street. And I get the chauvinism. I get all that. There's a lot about it that is just inherently wrong. But I also think the movie is never. I don't think it sensationalizes or makes you believe that, oh, look how cool this is. I don't think it's ever approaching from that point. Personally, I think it's always approaching from the point of just going from, here is the story of this man and what his life was. And I think it is at the heart of it, just there's a sucker born every day. And that's what Scorsese's trying to get across, especially with that final shot of the movie. Of the whole thing is, there is a sucker born every day. And these are the type of people that will prey on you. So I think that is where Scorsese's coming from, and I'm going to go Wolf of Wall Street because I just love, I love the bombasticness and just the energy. I like the fact that a 70-year-old man directed this movie with this amount of energy is insane to me. So yeah, I'm going with Wolf of Wall Street. Tell
Wolf of Wall Street. Boom. Done.
Fair enough.
Listen, I have plenty I could say about the Wolf of Wall Street, but I think we're going to talk about it again at this point.
Well, I'll get into it next time.
Especially with yep. Marisol.
I do kind of agree with the stuff. I do agree with the stuff said about Fury. I don't love Fury, but I was surprised by it. I remember that, like being very surprised by it, because I had no expectations for it, and the camaraderie, that tight knit, having the movie be so focused on this tight knit group of guys, a Shia movie. Yeah, Shia LaBeouf, give him a shout out again, because he's scary, uncomfortable in this. He's a ticking time bomb in it, and it makes you really uncomfortable and scared. And there's a lot of, you see the self-destructive qualities in a lot of these men who are, know that they have nothing, like knowing they could die any day, and some of them almost like relish that, like some, like how, like seeing a group of men who are living on the edge, like living knowing they're going to die at any moment, and a bunch of kind of renegades who have kind of given into that fact, is really makes for actually kind of a fascinating, more engrossing character study almost than I thought I would have ever expected out of Fury. And I'm going to agree about Brad Pitt giving a more subtle performance. And I should definitely rewatch Fury, because I think I liked it. But I hate Wolf of Wall Street. I hate this movie so much. And I reserve that for, I haven't had to say that about any other movie. I loathe this movie. And it has nothing to do with like not liking the performances or everything, because of course we all love the performances. Everybody's diving into this deliciously depraved story, and as much as they want to, but it's not deliciously depraved. I get it that we're laughing at, like, oh my God, look how terrible these people are. Oh my God, it's so ridiculous. I get that they're not supposed to be cool. Like, yeah, I get that 10 minutes into the goddamn movie, and then it goes on for 2 hours and 50 minutes, and it's just rinse, repeat. And there's not even, it's just cool. The moral is that people are terrible. Look at them being terrible. Isn't it so funny that they're terrible? Not after 3 hours. And then they don't even walk away with any really bad consequences. They just, I am exhausted every time. I've seen Wolf of Wall Street 3 times because I keep trying to see, like, maybe I'll see the movie everybody in the world sees, and I'll just enjoy this. This will click in as enjoyment rather than nauseating and insufferable. It has nothing to do with the quality of the filmmaking. Obviously, it's a very well-made movie, but it's just the why of it hits me like in the face every time I watch it. The why of this all, and I loathe this movie, and I'm not mad that it's so popular. I can't really explain it, but I understand that it's just one of the most popular films of the decade. But there's not a movie in this bracket I would want to rewatch less.
She's telling the truth.
And it's going to go really far in this bracket, I'm sure.
Oh, no. I'm going
to...
No. Okay. Well, that is the end of bracket 6. Here is
on that note.
So next week, guys, we will be back on Monday because of Mother's Day on Sunday. So we are going to be doing another Monday show next week. So thank you so much for joining us. But let's go through the movies, and then I'll give you some previews. The Babadook,
what am I dealing
Big
with?
Short,
A lot of
The
red
Big
movies
Stick,
this week.
Blue Jasmine, Cinderella, The Conjuring, Doctor Sleep, Dunkirk, The Descendant, First Reformed,
Ooh.
Hell or High Water, The Irishman, Ladybird, Silver Lining Playbook, Hereditary, Patterson, The Lego Movie, Jojo Rabbit, Long Shot, Love Simon, Mother, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Pitch Perfect, Searching, Made, She's Out of My League, Short Term 12, Sicario, Moneyball, Sinister, Skyfall, and True Grit.
All right.
What do we got?
I know which one I'm going to
Tease me, bitch.
What do we got?
Oh.
I don't like you.
Yeah.
Eh. Ha! That's funny.
That is funny. Oh,
I don't like you.
That's targeted. That one's targeted.
Jacob, that is a bag of
Random my ass on that last
Okay.
No one else is laughing. Only you.
Mara, thank you so much for joining us. Where can people find you online?
Thank you to everyone on the show for I was the primary reason by which this week's show was moved. So thank you everyone for your flexibility. And also for coming with me to the kitchen while I made food. I am findable generally on this show, in this place at the time when we started a week from now. I'm not up to much else. I'm actually recording a new episode of The Basement fucking finally this week. And I mean that not as an angry thing, just as a, oh my God, we've both been so busy thing. And also I've been sick. So yeah, I'll be here. Thanks.
Adam, Marisol?
Champs on film eventually, right? We're gonna get back to it.
Yeah, just catch up on our older movies.
Honestly,
our
we're doing
older
this
videos.
bracket thing right now. I don't know if you've heard of it, but we're staying a little busy watching like movies
And catching up on movies.
and talking about.
And then also working our
Yeah,
jobs.
yeah, it's
But yeah.
day jobs and night movies. Champs on film on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram. Please and thank you.
And Letterboxd, follow us individually.
Yes, but we will be getting back out there before too long, so stay tuned.
Yeah, this show, occasionally some stuff on this channel. Otherwise, you can go to my Letterboxd and just look at my recently watched diary list, and it's the same 3 movies over and over again instead of watching the movies that I need to watch. And it just challenges the idea of you, like it's the same movies over and over again instead of doing the things I need to do. So come check that out. And yeah, just online everywhere at Finally Tailored, basically, and to just watch me screaming about the Met Gala, whatever.
Mara, I do want to say Dan became Taylor's favorite human being in the world.
He did. Yeah. I was like, positive review for the idea of you, winner. I won.
Nice.
I won. But also, I'm very upset that he hasn't seen Bottoms, so we need to fix that immediately.
It's okay. Nobody's lost the room faster than I did when I shat all over Wolf of Wall Street, so it's okay.
So what?
Dan won't hit that bottom.
We all wanted to relive that together.
You guys can find me pretty much everywhere, just at Jacob London. Until then, guys, thank you. We will see you next Monday at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. It has been wonderful, and if I'm still alive, that'll be great. See you guys. Bye.